I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fam's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcasting like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the number one Chief Rock and Knicks University main man's Uncle Freezy. Y'all want this party started right. Y'all want this party started quickly, right? All right, y'all know how we do the Knicks at Night podcast. Get that energy up. Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you got some loot and a stick of juicy fruit, somebody say, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Scream. Ah. Let's go, y'all. Let me put these joints on, man. Yeah, man. Y'all know how it is, man. Y'all know what it do. Yeah, man. Y'all know what it do. Y'all know what it do, man. What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, y'all? It's good to see y'all, man. Good to be with y'all, man. Y'all know what it is. Nighttime is the right time. Let's get this next conversation going, man. Let's get this next conversation going. See, Adam is in the building. Adam, what's good, man? JJ. Yo, what's good, y'all? The hip-hop legend Cormega is in the building. What's happening? What's good? JJ, we gotta do some all Met stuff, man. We gotta do some all Met stuff. My intent was to do it today, man. Time kind of got away from me. Almighty Finesse says, blow up the roster. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Got some Hawks talk. Okay. The Hawks own the Knicks? Probably so, man, at this point. Probably. Right now, probably so. Probably. Yeah, man. The Knicks are struggling at the moment, man. The Knicks are struggling. The Knicks are struggling right now, but that's okay. JJ says, facts. Let's do that Mets talk, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All Future Media is in the building. What's good? All Future Media? Yeah, man. All right. Let me do this thing right here. Let me do this thing right here. All right. All Future Media says it was all good just a week ago. The Jay-Z reference. I see you. I see you. Yeah, man. JJ says the team won't even make the play-in. Okay. All right, this team won't even make the play-in. Yeah. It's tough times in the city. Tough times in the city. You?
Yeah, Uncle Freezy. Salute, Uncle Freezy. Salute to the panel. Salute to the chat.
Salute,
What's
salute,
good,
salute.
boss?
What's good, boss?
Sorry couldn't be there this afternoon game. I was out.
Things happen, bro.
Yeah, man.
Things happen. It must have been one heck of a date,
But I
bro.
was watching the scores and
Did you drive the Ferrari or the Lamborghini today?
No, I was out with my cousins.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to an Italian restaurant.
Okay. Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, man.
Good.
Great time.
Good.
I was keeping an eye on the Knicks score. Also watching the football game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wasn't I had a feeling the Knicks was gonna lose.
I was hoping. Oh man.
I saw you was rocking with Nev today.
Yeah.
Just you and Nev rocking it out today.
Yep. It was fun.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. It was fun. It wasn't. A bad time. We were all right.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good time. The Knicks lost, which made us kind of frustrated. Let's say that the loss was very frustrating. Kenny Payne is in the building.
Yeah. I hear that someone says that we can be lucky to make the play-in.
Right.
The Knicks don't belong in the play-in.
Right.
The Knicks belong in the first round. That's where they belong. You can forget about the play-in. That's not for us.
Right.
Yeah, man. So that needs to stop saying the Knicks should think about making the play-in. No, don't even say that. Say we should be making the first round.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you get to watch the game after you returned?
I didn't. I didn't see the game at all.
Okay.
I was with my cousins.
Okay.
But I kept peeking, every so often to check the score. And I knew the Knicks was going to lose.
Right.
First of all, playing in Toronto, a team that's not easy to beat on their home floor. And I didn't watch the game, but I can tell Brunson probably didn't have a good game. Julius Randle probably didn't have a good game. RJ probably didn't have a good game. The whole team was off. I'm not going to comment that much because I didn't see the game. I wasn't with you guys, so.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that.
Yeah, but it was bad enough that we lost.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that. So to kind of do like a recap of what we saw.
Yeah.
The Raptors trapped on the edges, kept everything in the middle of the floor, and the trap disturbed our offense, and they threw out a junk defense, basically. So basically what they did was they went to a 2-3 type zone or a 2-2, whichever one, and they have different principles. They're not the same thing, but for the most part, it looked like a 2-1-2,
Right.
excuse me, or a 2-3, right?
Right.
And they trapped on the periphery, and the fact that we didn't share the basketball like we should have hurt us big time.
Yeah. They did a lot of moving screen, right? The Raptors.
Huh?
The Raptors did a lot of moving screen on us.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
That that throws the like if you have Brunson, guarding let's say um OG Ananobi,
He
right?
didn't play.
Oh, he didn't play.
No.
Let's
And
say
Emmanuel quickly didn't play either.
Brunson didn't play.
No, Emmanuel quickly. I said Emmanuel
Oh,
quickly.
Emmanuel quickly didn't play. OG
Yeah.
Ananobi didn't play.
Nope. Nope.
Let's
That's what I was describing to you. What happened was the Raptors threw out a junk defense, and
Yeah.
we couldn't get a shot against that junk defense.
Yeah.
And when I say junk defense, it's like, hey, you're a hockey fan?
Oh yeah. I'm a
It,
deep.
it- it's
I'm a
like
deep
it's
Ranger
like
fan.
when it's like when a team plays dump and chase all game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I've
Just
seen that a lot.
yeah, dump the puck in the corner and just chase it.
Exactly.
It's terrible hockey to watch. Right. Right.
Oh no.
But teams do it to run time off the clock, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what we face with the Raptors. And then on the other end, without
Right.
Quickly and Mitch, two of our best defenders,
Yeah.
we just couldn't guard anybody, man.
Wow.
We just couldn't guard. We just couldn't guard anybody. And if you look at the box score will tell one story, but that's not it, right? If you look at the box score, it looks like it was like they just took turns beating us,
Right.
but that wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? They had 4 guys with just about 20 points. Siakam had 24. Gary Trent had 24. Van Vliet had 28. Scotty Barnes had 19. Preston Chua had 12. And so if you just go by that alone, if you just read the box score, it makes it seem like they had a balanced attack, but they didn't.
Right.
Guys stepped up for them during the game.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me for geez, man. But guys stepped up for them during the game where it's like, when they needed a basket, they could just get a basket from anyone.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now the Knicks are only 2 games over 500. 25 and 23.
Yeah.
And the schedule is not getting any easier.
No.
We got to face Cleveland on Tuesday.
Yep.
And then Boston, I think Thursday.
Yep.
Oh, God.
And the Boo Birds will be out, brother.
So, what is the winning percentage do you see the Knicks have against Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I don't know.
You don't know. And
No.
I'm not gonna even ask what is the winning percentage you think the Knicks have against Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. I'm not gonna ask that because their winning percentage is gonna be very slim. So,
Right.
So, but what I can do for you, boss, is give you some final scores around the NBA.
All right.
So, Knicks fans, those of you that watched the game today, the Raptors beat the Knicks 125-116. The Clippers beat Dallas 112-98. Miami beat the Pelicans 196. The OKC beat Denver 101-99. The Suns beat Memphis 112-110. Brooklyn beat Golden State 120-116. And the Lakers beat the Trailblazers 121-112. There's your NBA final scores, Sunday's games.
Good. Thank you, man. Good job. Good job,
Got
man.
it, boss.
All right. So, Almighty Finesse asked, what should we do?
For the next two
Okay.
games?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just focusing on the Cleveland game?
No, going forward. No, it's not about from game to game. See, you can't say what to do from game to game
Right,
because every individual game and every individual team is going to come out with their own personnel concepts
right,
and execution, where you can't just say we're going to do this for the rest of the year and
Right.
assume that it's going to work against every team. It's not. Right? In this game, let me tell y'all something, man. Jalen Brunson looked very selfish in this game. Very selfish.
He was more like a ball hog today.
Yep. Jalen Brunson looked very. There were times when other New York Knicks were so wide open
And he didn't
that
pass.
it doesn't. There were times where New York Knicks were so wide open that it's like a non-fundamental play for him not to pass it. Right? There was a streak during this game. Where Quentin Grimes was so open
Right.
on the opposite side of that zoned up defense
Right.
that it was borderline egregious not to pass it to him. Right? And you could see the frustration on RJ Barrett's face and on Quentin Grimes' face. Right? Jalen Brunson at 6, whatever he is, 6'1". Right? Say at 6'1".
Okay.
Is being zoned against. Right?
Right.
And so he decides to split the zone and force up shots when Grimes was wide open in the corner and he didn't even look to pass. And it's not just Grimes. Adam,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing.
You can hear me, right?
Right.
Let me tell you something about Obi Toppin was so wide open on about 4 consecutive plays
Yeah.
that you could basically hear them screaming at him, pass it to Obi, right?
Yeah.
And then when they finally get it to Obi in the corner for 3, guess what happens?
He tried to take the shot himself.
He took the shot himself.
What? See, you can't expect to win games if you don't get your
Splash.
if you don't get your teammates involved.
Right, but listen, let me finish. So they miss Obi like 5 or 6 trips down the floor, right?
Right.
They finally get it to him. He's open. Like, say how you're looking at the screen right now.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the screen, say at the bottom of your screen,
Mhm.
you know how you're going left to right or whatever?
Yeah.
They get it to Obi. Obi splashes the bottom,
Right.
the 3 in the bottom corner, right?
Right.
The next trip down, they look for their own shot. Obi is open at the top of the screen,
Uh huh.
right? They kick it to him. Obi catches the ball in the corner at the top of your screen. And guess what he does?
Oh,
Splash! Against the zone, right? Against the
right.
zone. Obi splashes it, right?
Right.
The next time down, they're like, okay, Obi is feeling it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Obi makes 2. The Raptors call a timeout or something. There's a dead ball.
Right.
They come back down. They look for Obi. They work the ball around. Brunson penetrates the lane this time, drawing in the defenders, consciously kicking it to Obi. Now the defense is scrambling. They kick it to Obi. Guess what happens?
What?
Splash! Obi makes another 3.
Okay.
Right? And then the next time they come down, they give it to Obi on a dribble handoff for him to take the shot, and he bricks. On a dribble handoff.
Yeah,
So instead of running natural offense, instead of just running natural offense,
right.
now Jalen Brunson at one point was terrible in this game. Like when you look at Jalen Brunson's numbers in the box score, it's 6 for 15, 4 of 7 for 3, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, 4 personal fouls, 21 points. Don't be fooled by this 21 points and 5 assists.
Yeah, that doesn't mean nothing.
This dude played a terrible game to start, and he warmed up late.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
But as goes Jalen Brunson, so goes the Knicks. RJ Barrett against that defense would catch it on the run and get to the basket and make a layup. RJ Barrett in this game finished with 30 points. RJ Barrett hit 4 threes.
Okay.
Right? 6 of 9 for the free throw line. 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Right?
Right.
So they take out Obi, right? And bring in Randall. And guess what happens for the rest of the game?
What happened?
No more Obi.
It's just
T. Smith,
tips.
appreciate you, T. Smith.
T.
Smith just became a member. Consider being a member. We made it super cheap. The memberships is like $2.99, $3.99, $4.99. So you could be I think $4.99 is the highest level, and you get all types of insight. You get GOAT status on the channel. GOAT status on the channel for $4.99. Tyree, David L.
Yeah, man.
Core Mega says Scoot, Thompson twins, Brandon Miller, Jarris Walker, Chris Murray. Yeah, man. They would not share that basketball. Oh my God!
I saw a little bit of Evan
if I never see Evan Fournier again, I don't know.
When did Tibbs take Obi out? Early in the fourth quarter?
Let me make sure I get it right.
In the beginning of the fourth quarter, and then never brought him back in.
Yeah, because I think it was something strange, bro. Obi played 11 minutes tonight. 11.
That's despicable.
Evan Fournier played 21 minutes.
Oh, you say, come on, Tibbs, man. You playing Fournier way more than Obi? Come on.
Right.
That's what tells you how stubborn Tibbs is.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you expect to see what Obi can give you if you're only going to play him 5 to 10 minutes a game? I mean, come on. Let Obi play 30 minutes for once.
Tonight would have been a night to do it.
I'm telling you.
Against a team that doesn't have a dominating center, why not?
Yeah.
right?
What do you see in Fournier? That's my question.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
But
have no idea.
what I do know though, what I do know is tonight Quentin Grimes was open a lot of times, and Randall.
How did he do?
Well, I was just about to say,
Yeah.
Randall, for the most part, played a good game. He
Okay.
was finding guys.
Right.
He was a willing passer,
Okay.
right? But our guards, we gotta start passing them. We gotta start creating for others.
Yeah, Quickly's like that too. Quickly does a lot of time doesn't get his teammates involved either.
Yeah.
He's a ball hogger too.
Right. Right.
Quickly's got to stop doing that. You know,
Right.
you act like you're the only guy on the floor. No, man, you got four other teammates on the floor. You got to pass the ball.
Right.
It's the game of basketball is teamwork. It's not one guy.
Right.
Okay? If only one guy is doing most of the scoring, come on, man, you can't expect to win games like that. You can't expect to win games like that. Everybody deserves to have some of the basketball as well. It's not just one guy.
Um. So here's the thing. This time last year,
Yeah.
the wheels fell off,
Oh yeah.
and now the wheels are starting to fall off. And Almighty Finesse says front office gotta go if they too conservative, right? And Knicks Nation, shout out to Knicks Nation, and he says Tibbs protects his pets, RJ, JR, Grimes, and IQ. And if you're in the competition with one of your pets, you become situational. Fournier is already turned off by the franchise, so Tibbs don't play him, don't pay him or play him. So I said that to say this tonight, man. This team lacks athleticism, and this team lacks size. At the moment, Miles McBride is not it, even though I love Miles McBride. But he doesn't provide anything yet. He's not that guy yet.
His defense is there, but his offense is not.
Yeah, he's not that guy yet. Big task at hand was good.
He's just not that guy. Yeah.
Big task at hand says if we have to be patient, the Knicks will get back on track. Right.
We have to be patient. The Knicks will get back on track. Yeah, right. How much patience can you be?
T. Smith says Leon Rose has to go. G-O.
The only way Leon Rose is gonna be fired from his job if
Right.
James Dolan fire him. And that's right now. James Dolan, Leon Rose, Warren West, they ain't doing nothing to try to change this nonsense that they seen on the floor.
Right.
They're not doing nothing. So I guess they want to continue to watch the same nonsense until they finally feel that it's time to make some changes.
This game tonight, man. This game tonight, I'm not gonna lie to you. RJ Barrett against those long defenders. RJ Barrett doesn't get any calls, man.
I'm telling you.
Now he got 9 free throw attempts tonight.
Yeah.
But man, he could have got more.
Wow.
right? And
Did
then if you
he
RJ
did he
Barrett, man,
hit
you got to
every
hit your
free
free
throw
throws.
tonight?
Huh?
Did RJ hit every free throw tonight?
Of course not.
No.
6 of 9.
Yeah, I know he missed a couple.
6 of 9. Here's some analysis that's not breaking news. Maybe it's broken news, right?
Yeah.
The Knicks need length and athleticism. We
Okay.
suffer. Man, the Knicks are short right now in height at
And,
every
and,
position.
and they don't have a bench.
Right.
They don't have a bench. So if Leon Rose sees that, why he doesn't go and get somebody to try to help with the second unit?
Tyrese says the roster is terrible. And
Well, I guess I think the front office is already feeling the pressure. Nah, I disagree with that, Almighty, because if they were feeling the pressure, they would make some moves.
so
The
so
front
Big
office, the
Tascan
front
has
office is
says,
sitting there
with
watching.
as much as Brunson been playing well for the Knicks, do you think that he could facilitate the offense a little better? Yes. Yes. But the big thing about Brunson is certain matchups just throw him off.
Yep.
Certain matchups like the tall teams, the long teams just throw him off. And there's nothing he can do about because he's not going to grow and teams are not going to get. He's got to find a way to facilitate, or the Knicks need to find another not ball dominant, but another playmaker.
Yeah. Like, do you feel, Freezy, that Brunson is trying to do too much?
I
I,
think Brunson wants to be an
I, I,
all-star.
I feel like he tries to do too much because he knows that the Knicks doesn't have a bench. And on the first unit, he's trying to do way too much instead of getting his teammates involved.
Right.
That's what I feel, and that's why if when you try to do too much, you're not gonna have a good game. You're not gonna have a good game. You have to get your teammates involved. Game
Right.
of basketball is a team basketball game. You win basketball games as a team, as a unit, not by one guy. And if Brunson was hogging the ball too much tonight, that is the reason why the Knicks lost because he didn't get his teammates involved too much.
Man child in the building. Man child says we've a bunch of mismatch on this team and brain dead coach. Man child, what's good, bro? Man child, did you go to the game tonight?
I doubt it.
Nah, man child is in Toronto.
Uh, he was at the game in Toronto. Oh, okay.
No, that's not what I said. I asked him if he went to the game.
He hasn't responded yet.
And JJ says, I'm happy this is happening. The team stinks, and we're gonna possibly end up in Scoot and Wemby sweepstakes. Wow. Okay.
Wow. No Brunson, no the Knicks is not that good. Yeah, you're right about that. This Knicks roster is not good enough.
And Tyree says, I heart or Fournier, who more hilarious to watch? So that's a good question because Fournier had a play tonight where you knew Fournier was gonna do something disgusting.
Mm,
He lost his balance, and as he was falling, he looked for a Toronto Raptor to give the ball to.
yeah.
And so it looked like he was going eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Oh,
Right. And it speaks to athleticism. Right. But for my money, I Heart is still the most fun Knicks player to watch out of those two. Because there were like a couple of rebounds where he
Yeah.
should have skied over Randall, but he looked at Randall in the air and took his hands back and let Randall have it. To me, that's funny.
How did Isaiah do tonight? Did he do okay?
No.
No.
Hartenstein played more minutes than Obi Toppin. Scored 2 points, 2 rebounds. Isaiah Hartenstein scored more points. Played more minutes than Obi against a team that doesn't have a center.
Did Jericho Sims get any playing time?
Yeah, he started.
Okay. He started. Wow.
And Al says, you're right. We need length. And Brunson can't handle double teams effectively yet. Right? And I saw that, and that's not necessarily a function of Brunson. The tandem gun. I've been saying this all year, and I feel like I'm on an island when I say this. Our guards are not guards. Grimes is not a guard. Grimes is a short wing player. He is not a guard. Am I criticizing him? No. Right? But when the double teams come towards Brunson, your other backcourt member is supposed to help with the ball handling.
Yep.
And T. Smith says our coach is coaching in the 80s and 90s. I would say this though about the Tibbs thing. Lord have mercy. That's all I got to say about Tibbs. Yo, when you Grimes is not a guard.
No,
He's 6'4" in height, but he doesn't play like a guard. He plays like a 3.
Yep.
Right? Think about it, Adam. Adam, you watch hockey?
Of course.
Right. Okay. So say you and I are defensemen, right?
Right.
Right. You and I are defensemen. On defense, we're stationed somewhere in front of the goalie. Like you have your side, I have my side, right?
Right.
But on defense, I'm up playing with the forwards, and you have to handle all the stuff from left to right by yourself in front of the goalie. Would you consider me a defenseman? You would consider me a forward, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Although
I'm not knocking Grimes. I'm not knocking Grimes, y'all. All right, Manchild says Grimes can be a good point guard. I said that tonight, but he has to be more aggressive hunting for the ball. Guards play in tandem.
I don't think Grimes is a point guard. I think he's more of a shooting guard.
I think he's a small forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grimes is not a point guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Tibbs continue to stick with, 8-man rotation, right?
Yeah. 9-man rotation. He played 48 tonight. Justin King is in the building.
Let's go next.
Man, this tea is killing my bladder right now. Hey, Adam, this tea is killing my bladder right now. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, man. I didn't see the game, so I can't really comment on it. So,
Yeah, man.
everything is good over there. The dog is good.
Who let the dogs out? Who Who let the dogs out?
Yeah, man. I was watching your show earlier today with the Knicks against Toronto hangout, and I heard your dog was making noise when you was on with Nev.
Yeah, man.
It sounded like your dog was singing for your attention. Yeah, man. The Knicks front office, they need to get up from their butts and start doing something with this roster. This roster is not going to make it. We don't have a bench. That's bad enough. And
Yeah,
Brunson's doing most of the work as a point guard. He doesn't have a backup point guard. It's not good. It's not good at all.
right. I think we need a certain type of guard to play with Brunson, right?
Yeah, and the Knicks need a second unit with a point guard as well.
Um, I'm not even gonna lie to you, boss.
Yeah, man.
Oh, jeez. Almighty Finesse asks a great question again. Almighty Finesse asks, "Are we overrating our players?" Yes, we're overrating our players. We're
Yep.
not overrating Randall. People hate Randall why do you hate Randall when tonight Julius Randall got you 23 points and 19 rebounds, 8 assists, right? Right.
Right.
People hate RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett got you 30 points off of slashing to the basket. RJ Barrett took the most shots, right?
Yeah.
Right. Here's the thing. The Knicks need help in other areas, man.
Oh my God.
I would have
Knicks.
loved to see more Obi Toppin tonight.
Oh man. Me too.
Would have loved to see more Obi Toppin
But the
tonight, man.
problem with Obi is that he does not show us his basketball skills. He keeps standing in the corners. Toppin needs to move more towards the middle of the floor.
Okay.
Make his teammates pass him the ball. He's got to stop standing in the corners and launching up 3-point shot because he's not going to hit every one of them.
Right.
He's not Steph Curry.
Okay.
Steph Curry can hit way more 3-pointers than Obi. I feel like Obi Toppin needs to move towards the basket more, and he will get the ball. I guarantee it. I guarantee he'll be more active if he was running towards the basket more than standing in the corners.
I would say I'm gonna say this about Obi tonight.
Yeah.
I think Obi played well tonight. Clearly, I think he must be on a minutes restriction by the medical staff, and we not know it because Obi was red hot tonight, and Tibbs didn't play him.
I think Tibbs keep him on minutes restrictions every night because when are you ever going to see Tibbs play Obi over 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes? You're never going to see that.
Okay.
You will never see Tibbs play Obi for 30 minutes, 35 minutes a game. Never. He's going to keep playing Obi for 10, 15 minutes minimum. That's how Tibbs see Obi. 10, 15 minutes minimum. He's never going to play Obi more than that. that tells you how stubborn Tibbs is.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
yeah, then he's forced to play Fournier because he doesn't trust nobody else on the bench.
Right.
um, I don't know why he doesn't play that guy that wears number 17 for the Knicks. That guy number 17. He can knock down threes. I don't know why Tibbs doesn't put him in the game.
Right. And B Baller for real asks, why would he be on a minutes restriction, but everybody else coming off injury plays like 30 plus minutes? Bro,
Yeah,
I swear, I don't know. Now,
yeah.
right now, hey man, B Baller for real. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. I'm grabbing at straws right now. I don't know why you sit a red hot Obi when you needed offense.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I,
And for the
I,
second straight game, the Knicks shoot over 40% from three. Right? And for the second straight game, the Knicks can't hit free throws. Tonight, the Knicks were 18 of 26 from the free throw line.
that 40% for behind the 3-point line, I think it's way lower than that because the Knicks don't shoot enough 3 pointers.
All right. Well, the
My,
Knicks shot 41 tonight. So they shot 41 threes. So that means they shot about 10 3-pointers per quarter.
that's very little. That is very little.
Yeah.
I would love to see the Knicks shoot like 10 3-pointers per quarter.
What?
I would love to see the Knicks shoot 10 3-pointers per quarter.
That's what they did, and that's what I was telling you.
That's 40 3-pointers in 4 quarters.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what they did tonight. They shot 41 3-pointers.
Okay.
Yeah.
41 3-pointers in 4 quarters.
Yep.
It'd be nice to see them shoot a little bit more. Get that higher. Get that 3-point percentage up into the 45 to 50% range.
So tonight they shot 43.9% from three on 41 attempts. They knocked down 18 threes.
Out of how many? 30?
41.
They knocked down 18 3 out of 41 attempts.
Yep.
That's not a lot. That is not a lot.
Okay.
If they knock down 30 to 35 3-pointers out of 60 attempts, then we're talking.
Yeah.
But 18 out of 41, that is not a lot.
Okay. All right.
Not a lot at all.
All right. Let me see.
And the Knicks didn't do well against Siakam either, right? They didn't defend Siakam that well.
Yeah, Siakam did not. Siakam wasn't the factor you think he would be.
Why?
Right. They came at the Knicks with it was balanced.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This guy's saying I'm tweaking. I don't know what you mean by that, but
Yeah. And B Baller for real says, I'm not liking the direction we are headed with our upcoming schedule. And hey, B Baller for real, I'm with you on it. Hey, Luke Skywalker Visions is in the building. Luke Skywalker Visions, what's good?
yeah, Luke Skywalker's saying I'm tweaking.
Yeah, because when I said, the Knicks shot 43 pointers, and you was like, no, the Knicks need to shoot 43 pointers at least 10 per quarter. And I was like, Adam, they did. And so they did shoot 43 pointers.
I would like them to shoot more than that. I'd like to see that go higher. But probably won't see that go higher. Because the Knicks are just not a 3-point shooting team.
Right.
Not a 3-point shooting team. It would be nice if they were.
Yeah, tonight they knocked down 18. Canal Ben Lawyers in the building. And so Almighty Finesse says, let's watch films, LOL. He's talking about Tibbs. And David, what's good, my guy? David says, let's not make any foolish trades. David, what do you mean by foolish trades? Hey, and it's good to see you too, David. What do you mean by foolish trades? Because I understand what you're saying. But foolish is a term that might be subjective, depending on your opinion. Depending on your opinion on the direction of the team. Yeah. What do you mean, David? That's really interesting. B. Willis is in the building. Why is Bullock a topic? We got rid of him already. Yes. B. Willis a topic in Knicks universe, not here. We hadn't talked about Reggie Bullock yet. Wiz is in the building. Adam, the Knicks are not. Wiz is quoting Adam. The Knicks are not a 3-point shooting team, so I want them to take more 3-point shots.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Ashley.
Yeah.
100%.
He's saying that's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, man.
Oh boy, we in trouble now.
Yo, what's up? What up, Freezy?
What's good, Trey?
I'm chilling.
Man, I thought you would have got the notification, man. And I was like, what Trey at? I ain't seen Trey.
I didn't get it. Really, my phone was in another room, to keep it real with you.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't see you at all on this chat, Dre.
What's up, Adam? How y'all doing?
How you doing, Dre?
Yeah, man.
I'm good aside from the Knicks.
I know you have a lot to say about the Knicks, Dre. Go ahead. The microphone's
where do I start?
Hey, how about we do this? How about we do this? How about I point out some stuff that you saw during the game?
Okay.
And you let me know if it was egregious or if Uncle Freezy is tweaking.
Okay.
Right? So Obi enters the game. He takes 5 or 6 trips down the floor. He's wide open in the corner. Jalen Brunson forces up middies and doesn't pass the ball to Obi. And then on one trip down the floor, they cut him off, and his only outlet is to Obi Toppin in the corner for 3. And depending on what broadcast you were watching, Obi Toppin was in that. And you know how your screen is set up where Obi a shooter will be in the bottom corner of your screen?
Yeah.
Obi was in that bottom corner of the screen. He catches it, and he splashes a 3. The next trip down, Obi starts up high and does the Ray Allen cut. Like I like to call it the recliner cut. Like where you start off like on a wing, and then you go to the front of the rim, and then you sprint into the corner.
Right.
And so Obi was in that corner. David, thank you, bro. Thank you for that. We appreciate you for that contribution, bro. Obi sprints to the corner, Jalen Brunson has no outlet, and they finally kick it to Obi in the corner, and he splashes a three. The next trip down, after Obi hit 2 threes in a row, right? Jalen Brunson against the same 2-3 or 2-1-2 defense. Jalen Brunson, I'm sorry, not Jalen Brunson. Evan Fournier comes down, shoots a contested midi over Pascal Siakam when Obi Toppin was in the bottom corner, waving his hand like one of those wind socks in front of a car dealership. Yeah, and you know, like those big wind socks.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
the air,
right.
the air that they're filled with air, and they just stop
Yeah,
flopping all
yeah,
over the
yeah,
place.
yeah, yeah. They call them wind socks, right? Yeah.
Mhm,
And,
mhm,
and, and
mhm.
so and so Obi's doing it in the corner, and Fournier shoots a contested three off the dribble. I'm sorry, contested mid-range two off the dribble instead of kicking it to Obi. The next time down the floor, Obi is in the top corner. Jalen Brunson shoots a contested three over two people, right? And of course he misses,
Right.
right? And then they come down. Obi stands up at the top with them, like reminding them, like, "Hey, man, y'all know I'm open in these corners, and for three." And then he takes off, right, and goes back to the corner. Jalen Brunson tries to ignore him. They cut him off. He kicks it out to Obi. Obi splashes the three, right,
Yeah.
and then they come back out. They come back out, right? Come back the next time down floor. They look for Obi. They kick it to him. Obi knocks down a three. And then instead of running the same play, instead of running natural offense, right? They run a dribble handoff with Obi to get him a three at the top of the key. It's a brick. And when he bricked that shot, they take Obi out of the game. And we don't see Obi anymore for the rest of the game.
We see him in the fourth for 3 minutes, and because the lineup was so terrible, he gets blamed for how
Right.
terrible it is.
Right. No. I mean during the
Yeah, I mean, I'm
You're right.
saying like in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter,
Right.
Tibbs immediately pulls him out as if he's the blame. He's to blame when he's just a finisher of a play. A point guard is supposed to set him up. He's not supposed to be doing. He's not supposed to be involved in a dribble handoff, getting the ball at the top of the key, shooting a three. And
Right.
that's not what he was supposed to do.
So am I tweaking? Or is this team disgusting to watch on offense at times?
His team is very low IQ on offense. Very low
Right. Yeah.
IQ.
For
And for how
Evan.
much and how much structure we have on defense is the complete opposite on offense. It's just a free for all.
Yep. Yep.
It's like Tibbs has so much structure on defense to the point it doesn't even fit the current roster we have, but we're
Nope.
gonna run the same defense. And on the other end, it's just a free for all.
Yep.
You let guys isolate as much as you want. There are no principles. There's no him calling out a play for a
Right.
particular player that makes sense. Like I'm I'm completely frustrated. This is the third year we going into this with Obi, right?
Right. Right.
We drafted Obi, right? And we knew what his skill set was coming out of Dame, right? He
Yep.
was a pick and roll, pick and pop finisher. He was
With
never
with
supposed.
upside in the pass game. With upside in the pass game.
Yeah, with
Not
upside to
saying
be
not, not
able
saying
to
not saying he was
like
a
out.
passer.
Yeah, but out of the short roll, he can make the simple read, basically.
Right. 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 Right.
And what we have, uh, what we have him here doing is there. Matter of fact, there is structure in the Tibbs offense. If you fit, you have to be a 3 and D guy.
Right.
Your power forward has to sit in the corner unless he's an isolation player. If
Right.
you can isolate, you'll get plenty of opportunities to isolate. The other guys are tertiary; they're just going to sit in the corner, away from the play, not even setting screens, no off ball actions. You're
No
just
cut.
oh, Yeah, you just sit over there. And the
Right.
only players that are going to cut are the isolation players. So
Right.
Randall will cut towards the middle for the ball so he can
Right.
isolate.
Right.
RJ will cut to the middle for the ball so he can throw up a little floater.
Right.
Brunson will cut to the middle in the middle of a zone or a trap so he can
Why
shoot.
why do we say RJ Barrett has a floater?
Well,
RJ Barrett
statistically,
has a RJ Barrett has a push shot. Cause
it's
that
a
thing he's
push.
throwing up is not
It's
that
a
thing he's
shot
throwing
put.
up. Yeah, yes.
RJ Barrett's floated. That's not his game.
Yeah. RJ Barrett is throwing is shot putting balls. He threw up two floaters tonight. And well, first of all, a floater is supposed to float,
And yeah,
right?
it's a line drive. He's just tossing it down in there
Right.
or flinging it.
Right.
But the only guys that get the opportunities in the cut are the isolation players because we've seen Obi by nature cut, and we've also seen him never get the ball when he
You
cuts.
know, of course. Of course. Of
So
course.
there's a hierarchy established
Right.
where Tibbs only wants three particular guys to get looks, and
Right.
even if they do, sometimes if all three of them are out there, RJ will get phased out. Just to keep it 100, RJ will get phased out over the course of the game.
Yep.
Even if he's hot, he'll get phased out over the course of the game so we can see more mid-range jumpers. And
Right.
this offense is just a mess, bro. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just your turn, my turn. I might set a token screen so you can isolate some more. There is no complementary play. There's no pick and roll. Like when we run picks, it's to get a rub just so we can get a mismatch so we can
Rub
isolate
screen. Yep.
again.
Yep. Rub
It's
screens. Yep.
never set a pick and roll or set a pick and I'm gonna hit you for this pop like with Randall. If we do that, Randall catches the ball, decides to dribble a few times, then takes the jumper. There is
Okay.
there is no rhyme or reason. It doesn't
Meanwhile,
make
the
sense.
defense gets a chance to reset itself.
Yeah, it gives them plenty of time to recover. The
Yep.
backside help gets to rotate in time.
Yep.
When you do all of these things, you're purposely making your job much harder than what it needs to be. These like we might get on Obi for not necessarily rebounding as well, but if he didn't leak out, my God, our transition offense would be non-existent. Like even
Right.
delayed transition would be non-existent.
Yep.
And it's like Tibbs is like I'm not gonna say Tibbs is a terrible coach. Tibbs is a very good coach, but he is not a good coach for this roster. If we're talking about raising the ceiling,
Yeah.
he might raise the floor, but you can clearly see what the floor is right now, especially when you have one or two pieces missing. Like
Right.
any other team, any other good basketball team, if they miss a guy like Mitch out of their lineup, they'll miss it. But that's not going to be the sole reason why your entire defense collapses and starts
Man,
giving
look,
up 130 points per game.
The Raptors didn't play OG Ananobi, and their offense looked better. Right? Oh,
Who-
no OG Ananobi tonight, and their offense legit looked better.
And they
Right?
had Precious Achua starting tonight.
Yes. And he was going to the free throw line like Karl Malone at one stretch during the game.
The beginning of the fourth quarter where they got literally 10 free throws in like 3 minutes.
And I think Precious Achua got 6 of those free throws. Precious Achua went to the free throw line 10 times tonight, more than any other player in this game.
It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
There is
And
no right.
and, and thing I don't get, how does someone I was watching on the if you were watching the Raptors telecast, even the
I
Raptors
was.
telecast was like, why isn't Obi playing in the second half?
Yep.
He has committed a disappearing act
Yep.
and he didn't play in the second half. And he
Yep.
was legitimately the only floor spacer we had that was working tonight. The only
Um,
one.
That's a shame.
Yep.
Yeah,
All they did was get to the free throw line in the fourth, make the free throws or miss them, set their defense, and we could do nothing
Right.
because our
Oh, oh,
offense is
oh,
that
oh,
predictable.
oh. And here's the thing too. I want to point out, right? Their bigs were manhandled by Randall down low, right?
Right.
So there was a point in the game, they were like, yo, we can't move this 255-pound dude. So if you get to the ball, just tap it back out. Oh, and it was frustrating that a team makes an adjustment during a game.
It's also frustrating? If any other basketball team, like for instance, if the Bucks lost Brooke Lopez for an extended amount of time and they don't
Right.
have that natural rim protection, you know what they do? They pivot to a zone just to throw a
Yes.
different look out there.
Right.
What do? We run this exact same defense. And
Right.
if we don't commit to the drop, what we do is we go under the screen to give our bigs time. And you know what you do? And when you do that to guys like Fred Van Vliet, he's just gonna drill threes on you.
He's gonna drill threes. It happened to us tonight. Yeah, it happened to us tonight. Yeah.
So like Tibbs's adjustment is too like his adjustments are too marginal. He doesn't want to stray
Ooh.
away from what he likes. What breads his butter, like the thing that makes him a solid
Hold
coach is
on, hold
also a
on,
thing.
hold on. He doesn't bread butter, he butters bread.
Like the thing that makes him a solid coach is also the thing that makes him uh just a solid coach. Never a
Okay.
top five coach. Never a top
Okay.
three coach.
Right. Right. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt.
And it's just frustrating. I don't like seeing this current stretch without Mitch. I don't know if Tibbs is gonna last another 2 weeks if we just keep losing
I
like
think he
this.
will, bro.
I don't see Tibbs lasting not until the end of the season. I
I
don't.
I thought this earlier in the year, like after that Mavs game, I thought he was gonna get fired,
Yep. Yep.
but then he timed his rotation.
Yep.
But with tightening your rotation, guys get hurt,
Yep.
and then not knowing how to pivot away from that because your rotation was so tight, you never really got to see what worked beyond that. Now
Right.
we're stuck in a position where we're forcing ourselves to play guys in roles that they don't need to be in or that they physically cannot do, and
Right.
they're
Yeah,
being
I ain't gonna lie to you,
exploited
bro.
now. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. If you think this is bad now, you wait until Valentine's Day. It is gonna be hell's bells in here, bro.
mm,
Because
Well,
I don't know if you remember, but this season is shaping up to be a carbon copy of what happened last season.
last year where we went like three and over a stretch 3-17 or something like
We
that.
won one game in February.
Whew.
mm-hmm. Oh my
You remember that? We won one game in February last year.
Yep, I remember. And we
Bro,
were, and you know what happened? We were complaining about not seeing any changes
yep,
for an extended amount of time. We saw the
yep.
same offense. We saw the same defense. No,
And,
no changes in rotation.
right.
No, no changes in offensive philosophies. Nothing. We just ran the same thing over and over because in Tibbs' mind, it will work. It's just not working right now, but it will work.
I would love to see a coaching change by the All Star break.
And that's not.
Not
I
like
mean, I'm gonna be real with you, Adam.
Yeah,
I would. It's probably not gonna happen.
it's not
That
gonna happen. I know.
that sort of thing is gonna happen in the off season
No
because
man, they
because
shouldn't even wait to the end of the season to make a coaching change. They should
because
do it now.
Tibbs is Leon's man. So like
and y'all gotta look at what happens historically, bro. What happens historically is we're in that stretch where Tibbs is gonna start losing control of the team and Things are gonna look all weird. Obi Toppin gonna cuss Tibbs out because of playing time, and the Knicks are gonna go on these weird stretches, and then when March comes around, the Knicks are gonna get red hot down the stretch. And before y'all cut me off, listen. The previous March 2 years ago, from in the last 20 games of the season, Tom Thibodeau, the team finished 14-6 in the last 20 games. Last year, the Knicks finished 12-8 in the last 20 games. And so to think that Tibbs is going to do, if you say Tibbs can't make an adjustment during the game or Tibbs doesn't make adjustments overall, do you think Tom Thibodeau is going to do something different? Two years ago, the team sucked at a certain point and then got hot down the stretch. Remember the 9-game winning streak 2 years ago?
Yeah.
We lost to Phoenix because Tom Thibodeau wouldn't get out of that ice pick and roll defensive coverage, and Chris Paul was talking trash. It was a Friday night in Phoenix. It was the Julius Randle revenge tour 2 years ago. 2 years ago, right? Where Julius Randle dominated Zion, he dominated Ja, he dominated Luka, all those guys. He dominated the Lakers. Anthony
Is
Davis.
that the game? Is that the game where like it was pretty close going through the third, and we got real close at the end of the third, and then they just blew the doors off us in the fourth quarter?
Jay Crowder hit the three. Remember the Suns were up 1, right? Remember we had a lead. That Chris Paul hits a floater, I think, in the lane. They take a 1-point lead. The Knicks try to drain the clock. They don't get a shot. They break us down. Jay Crowder hits a 3 to put the Suns up by 4 and starts blowing kisses to the crowd in the corner in front of RJ Barrett and RJ Barrett's face. And people are like, well, RJ Barrett sucked. No. Tibbs called a certain DeAndre Ayton was killing us down the lane. So Tibbs said, tag, basically the defense was RJ, tag Ayton and stay there. I know he's double teamed, right? But stay there, right? And then if they pass it, if basically the plan was make Chris Paul throw a dime on the money across the court with his opposite hand to a 3-point shooter in the corner, and we'll live with the consequences.
Well, that's what he did.
And Chris Paul actually did. Chris Paul actually did that because Chris Paul is a Hall of Fame point guard. Against a normal dude, that doesn't work, right? But Chris Paul did that for the rest of the game, and they wound up beating us by 10. And Chris Paul was saying the whole time he can't believe that Tom Thibodeau is disrespecting him like that with this defense. Come up with something new. Talking trash on ESPN.
You know what it is? I think Tibbs can adjust, but he adjusts so late that it almost doesn't even matter at that point. He adjusts in 15 to 20 game intervals. That's what he does.
Oh my God. By that time, it's time for an adjustment to the adjustment to the adjustment.
Exactly. And then when you see that, like, he has adjustments that take so long, we'll go on 8-game win streaks and then we'll lose 4 in a row. Then we'll win 3 and then we'll lose another 4.
Yep.
Right.
Which is what we're in right now. Like it's his adjustments don't happen on a game-to-game basis. It doesn't happen based on opponent. It's just what he has, and he feels what will work with that particular
every 20
unit.
games.
Yeah.
And every 20 games. So right now, Tibbs made an adjustment, right? But right now the Knicks are 25-28. So you have 12 more games to see what we're seeing right now before we get to 60.
You said the Knicks are 25 and what?
23.
23, man. And it's possible that the Knicks might lose these last 4 games in the month of January. If you look at the 4 teams that we're facing, Cleveland, Boston, Brooklyn, and the Lakers.
And don't look now. But
and if you look at the schedule in the month of March for the Knicks,
It's a little too far off, Adam.
I don't know. I'm going a little bit far.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going a
Let
little
me
bit far
Adam. Let
ahead,
me
but I'm
Adam.
saying.
And hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me finish my point. What I'm saying is don't look now, but the objects in your mirror are closer than they appear.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Don't look now, but Atlanta, Indiana, Chicago, Toronto, and Washington are in striking distance of the Knicks. The Wizards are only 4 games back of the Knicks at the moment,
Yep.
right?
It'll
Don't
only
look
take one quick stretch, and we're 12th on the outside looking in.
right. All it takes is a injury to our starter and an injury to one of our reserve players and a very tough schedule. And before you know it, we'll be the 12th team in the Eastern Conference.
You know what's funny, Freezy? I feel like one of our we could sustain an injury to one of our mid three. I don't think we can sustain an injury to any role players. The role players are so much more intrinsic to what Tibbs needs to get done on a
Right.
night to night basis. We can plug and play isolation players. If one of
You
the
know
big
what? You
three
know
come
why I think
out,
that is? To your
yeah,
point,
yeah,
I think the reason why that is because Tibbs plays certain guys so many minutes,
right.
right? That if, say, for instance, if RJ goes out, I think we'll be okay with a rotation of Grimes and Jericho Sims and Fournier to fill in the gap while RJ is out, right? But
And
think
that's
about
mostly
this,
I was gonna say Freezy because it's because we when we substitute RJ, all we do is just bump up the usage because we play the same way with the other guys. We just bump up the usage in isolation ball.
right? Right,
That's it.
right.
Which is kind of why we won games without RJ. We've won games without Brunson. Maybe not Randall because Randall is very intrinsic because he gets rebounds
And
and
Randall's a
that
machine. Randall don't get
yeah
hurt.
yeah exactly. And
Right,
so
bro.
it
The dude,
yeah.
the night Randall stepped on a dude's foot, my heart was in my throat, bro. Because I was thinking,
Why? He's indestructible. You should be worrying about that dude's foot, not Randall.
I know I should have been worried about that NBA floor that might have been damaged, right? but, but what I'm saying is if Randall see, because I don't think Tibbs is gonna play Obi Toppin all of Randall's minutes if Randall ever was to miss a game.
You know what's funny? Uh, even if I won't say Obi has the same impact as Randall, but if Obi got 38 minutes, you best believe he's gonna get 20 and 8,
20.
minimum 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's with not like having high usage. Just
On
that's
better
just with
efficiency
playing.
too. Yep.
That's just with him existing and playing and getting it within the flow of the offense because
But
that's how he
but but
functions.
but here's the I understand and listen, I know where you're coming from. But here's the thing. What if you and God forbid, I'm not saying that this will happen, right? When teams don't have to game plan for you, bro, you just you know what I'm saying, you
Right,
could go get yours. But if
right. That's
Randall
true.
was to miss significant time and Obi Toppin is the every night starter for like a 30 game stretch, I
Right.
don't know what we'll get. Right? I don't know if we'll get
Because you know you can pencil
Obi
in
breakout
20 and 12 with Randall at
7.
this point.
Oh
Like,
yeah. With Randall, Dre, I'm telling you, y'all sleeping on Randall, bro. I think Randall gonna finish the season at 26 and 12. I think Randall's gonna
I
finish.
don't know. I don't know, but what is he at right now? 22 and a half, 23, somewhere around there. I think he's somewhere around there. I
I
think he
think
might
he's.
end up we're at like the
What do
46,
you think he's at?
47
Say
game
say
mark.
say where you think he's at right now again.
I think he's at like 23 and a half, something like that.
Randall is averaging 24.4
Ooh,
and 10.7 rebounds, bro.
24.4.
Yep.
Well, we're at the 46 or 47 game mark, somewhere around there. He'd
Yep.
have to average like 28, 29 for the rest of the year to bump it up to 26 because
Well, guess
we're
what he's
almost at the
averaging in the month of January?
Almost 30.
25.6. Yep,
25.
25.6. And in December, he averaged 28.3. Right?
How much
And
of
and
that?
no,
How much of that kind of coincides with some nights RJ's not been there and Brunson's not been there? Because I feel like some of his scoring has gone up because those guys weren't there. And then and I've seen games where both of them come back and he's been in the teens because he hasn't needed to score as much in those games.
in January, Randall had 2 games in the teens.
And I would willing to bet both of those games were when RJ and Brunson were there at the same time. He forces it a little bit less when we have both of them there, in my opinion.
Um,
If he starts out off, he doesn't keep shooting. Like he'll settle for taking 16 shots in an off night. But when one
you
of
know
them are
what?
gone, he'll put up 20, 22 shots, maybe 23 shots if he needs to.
In the month of January, right?
Yeah,
Julius Randle averaging 14.2 rebounds a game, bro.
that is ridiculous. That is a lot of
14.2 rebounds.
rebounds.
Randall is averaging 25.6 and 14.2 rebounds on 4.4 assists, right?
That is
And
ridiculous.
the thing about it is he's not taking a ton of shots here lately. He was taking a ton of shots at the beginning of the month. But to your point, but now Randall is probably in the range of against Atlanta, he took 22 shots.
Right.
Right against Toronto, he took 20 shots. The last Toronto, this game he took 14 shots, bro.
And
I
that's
mean,
partially because they kept trapping him over and over
right,
and over and over. If they didn't trap him, he'd probably get 20 shots up. Just
right.
because he, like, if you don't trap him, he's gonna get to his spot and get off his mid range shot here and there or bully ball a little bit more.
Randall,
But he's gonna double the
Randall
10
is
tonight.
okay, okay, okay. All right, let me see something here. Let
Mhm.
me see if I can find this. Uh, uh, uh,
I,
uh.
I like that intro.
What's good, Nev?
What's good
What's
now?
going on, man? What's going on, everybody?
What's up, Nev?
Hey,
I
what's
know
up?
Nev got a lot to say about Tibbs.
He
I'm
Oh, I
pretty sure
know
he
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 said.
said it
does.
I'm
all
pretty
for me, man.
I
Yeah,
know he
hey,
Been
Nev
does.
is,
listening to you guys. I'm like, wow, Dre say that I don't have to say much tonight. He's doing
yeah,
all the
man.
talking for me.
Yeah, man. Man, bro. So. All right. So, I don't know. Yo, Chef NYK says the 305 is in the building. Shout out to money is a major issue. Yeah, if y'all know what money is a major issue, if you know what that is, throw some fire in the chat. but listen, um Randall's numbers in the month of January, Dre, man, his numbers, man.
they're outstanding.
14, 14 rebounds. When's the last time you seen a dude average 14 rebounds and 4 assists?
And four
Right?
assists
And 4 assists, bro.
over stretches. Jokic. That's about it.
That's about it. And then when you add 25 points a game to it,
Well, I'm willing. Well, Jokic is kind of doing that right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
but
and,
but
and
but the efficiency is a little bit different though.
right. And so just for context, right? This time last year in January, Randall averaged 22.3 on 8.9 rebounds a game. And he was shooting 39.5%. right?
Mhm.
Just context. And so I'm gonna do so for context, I'm gonna go back one more year, 2 years ago. All right. All right. This stupid ESPN thing is playing in my ear. I'm sorry, y'all.
You're
All
good.
right. So January, I want to go to January. So Randall, oh, stupid ESPN thing. All right. So I want to go back to the January. January, where's January? January 2 years ago, Randall averaged 22.2 and 11.4 rebounds on 45.6 percent from the floor. This month he's shooting 41%. But
Yes,
man,
that's the
yeah,
only thing. That's the only thing that kind of is disconcerting, and that's
mhm,
because our offense doesn't lend itself to easy shots.
right.
It's
Or maybe
it's it's.
maybe our coach doesn't want to blend ourselves to easy
I
shots.
mean, the offense is an extension of the coach. I mean, you
Yeah,
don't get
yeah,
the offense without the coach. So,
that's true.
Right.
but but we don't. There's a reason why we've all noticed it's a struggle for us to get good shots on a
Right.
consistent well, easy shots. If you watch other teams play on a night to night basis, they get so many mismatches and layups over guys in the paint or cross matches. And us, we're like paddling upstream with one row with one oar every night because we keep trying to play this isolation, your turn, my turn type of play with guys that don't have physical advantages every single night. So you're gonna have the nights where Brunson shoots pretty bad from the field because he takes hard shots. Like the
Right.
shots he makes on a night to night basis, he is one of the most skilled players in the league just because he can make them at 6 foot, a generous 6 foot.
Right.
But you can't live off a diet off of that, man. You can't do that. You
Right.
cannot do that. You can't live off a diet of contested mid range jumpers for 80% of your shots. You,
Right.
you can't live off of a diet of contested mid range jumpers from your power forward that's a bowling ball. You can't live off of that consistent, which is why his shooting went down to 40% overall. Like that's
Right.
kind of that's basically what he shot all of last year. And we thought
You
Brunson
talking about Randall, right?
yeah, yeah. And that's
Okay.
basically
Okay.
we thought Brunson would make Randall's shot selection easier. It's not easier because he's getting the same looks.
Right. And
They're not
but the
playing off
thing
of
is,
each other.
but the thing is, Dre, man, I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. Yo, salute to my man Rel from We Talk Hawks. I'm sorry, We Talk Mavs,
Ooh,
GLO
ooh,
Mavs. I'm sorry,
ooh.
GLO Glow
Trying to get me in
Mavs. I'm
trouble, man.
sorry, I'm sorry. Glow Mavs.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, Rel?
What's good, y'all?
Rel
What's good?
talking about. I'm sorry, bro. My bad.
Yeah, bro.
What's
Good to
good? What's
see.
good?
So we got some real basketball talk in a building.
Yes, sir.
All
Just
right.
got through with our show, man. I'm up for a little bit, man. I can hop on with y'all for a little bit.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, man.
So we're talking about we've been talking about Randall and Randall's impressive numbers for the month of January. Almost 26 points a game, almost 15 rebounds a game for the entire month. For almost 5 assists. The reason why I brought this up to Dre is because I feel like the Knicks need to make some type of improvement, right? But the improvements that I think the Knicks should make are not replacing Randall or not replacing Brunson or not replacing RJ, but going out and getting a guy that stretches the floor so that Randall can improve on that same thing that Dre just said,
But
right?
here's the thing, Freezy. There's a difference in getting a shooter, and then there's a difference in weaponizing said shooter.
Right,
Unless you got like a guy like Luca that's going to find the shooter, no matter if he's in the corner by himself,
right,
and being so much of a distraction where the rotations aren't obvious, you need to like For instance, we don't run anything that will get a shooter free. We just let our shooters sit in the corner.
Thank
We
you.
don't run pin downs. We don't run curls. If we run a little bit of floppy action, it's never to actually get the shooter off. It's really just like a decoy play just to get our isolation off. It's like
What type of
we don't
shooters?
weaponize. We don't
Do you have? What type of shooters do you have?
when we had hold
Because
on.
We
For,
have
for
we
instance,
have
for instance, for
Grimes.
instance, for instance, we have Grimes, but in this rotation, the only guy on this team that we can say without a doubt we've seen with our own two eyes do it like off the dribble or catch and shoot or off ball is Fournier. And
okay,
even the best version of Fournier, his shooting has been weaponized better on other teams as opposed to us. Where his shooting gets weaponized is he does the dribble handoffs with Randall, and that's pretty predictable.
right,
And if you know how to cover it,
right,
you can
and
stop it
plus
from
they do it.
happening.
Plus they do it on a side of the floor, Dre.
Right, right.
Right, they
Which
do
makes
it
it
on
even
a
easier to stop. So
defend. Yes, yes, because if you trap it, now you have two shaky ball handlers being trapped against the baseline. I mean, against the out of bounds line.
and this is what I'm saying. Like even if we were to get the hypothetical shooter, like tonight, we had Obi in the corner shooting a high clip from three, but we could never really pull away or get a good lead against them because the rotation is so simple to cover. You can like in this modern NBA, if you're playing isolation basketball with stationary shooters,
Okay.
unless you have like a magician with a magician that fakes out defenses and does multiple no look passes on a night to night basis like Luka Doncic does. Luka Doncic has to do look away passes by force, not choice. He has to do no look passes legitimately 6 or 7 times because teams like it's so built in these rotations. Teams know how to rotate to shooters at a level like defenses are even though we're looking at these scores being high right now, defenses are way more complicated. So you have to trick the defense almost every single time down to get a stationary shooter open.
Right.
It's hard to do that when you don't have a very, very high level playmaker like a James Harden or a Chris Paul, where you can trick defenses into leaving the stationary shooter into rotating in a different way that they didn't predetermine. When you have us running this isolation offense, if you don't have like a Harden or a Luca or Chris Paul or any elite playmaker that can make something out of nothing on their own by deceiving the defense, looking off defenses, faking the defense with just their head movement, if you don't have that, which we don't have that, it doesn't weaponize the shooter as much. Like these shooters that are around these guys wouldn't be as good shooter. Their looks wouldn't be as open if they didn't have the superstar there. And I don't know if plugging in a shooter is just going to change everything for this particular unit, how we run our offense. Like it might help in the temporary, but when teams adjust and realize, hey, that's a shooter and he's going to be in this corner or the opposite corner every single time down, the rotation becomes predictable. We're not tricking anyone.
Okay. So you
And
said
when
rotation.
teams,
You mean the defensive rotation?
yeah, the defensive rotation
Yeah,
becomes
you got to
predictable.
specify. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
my
yeah.
bad, my bad. But the defensive rotation becomes predictable. They know what to
Right.
do. And then we have guys like Randall, and we saw in tonight's game, he doesn't really know how to adjust and attack double teams ahead of time. He lets the double come all the way towards him, and that allows the other three guys on the backside to zone up and know when to rotate and who to rotate to.
Right.
And guys like Luca or James Harden, they may not get the direct assist, but they will also get the hockey assist because they move the ball before the double can fully commit. They get it up out their hands. They relieve the pressure off of the defense immediately. And I don't see us just I don't see our guys physically being able to do that unless we were to have some sort of drill over the summer where we were doing this over and over. But in the middle of the season, where guys like Randall, where we know who they are, who they've been for the last 4 years, I don't see just adding a shooter changing that, unless it's one of the greatest shooters of all time, where teams
Nah,
are petrified of leaving him open. That I
yeah.
don't see it. I don't see just adding a shooter. We have
Okay.
we have problems that are
Far deeper
ingrained in
than
our
that. Yeah.
offense. Yeah, like that are ingrained in our
Not
offense.
completely. Not completely, Dre. Not com- it. So let me do this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me just do this real quick. So the thing is, just real quick, it's not adding a shooter making
Hmm.
the Knicks starting fives offense better,
Right.
right? When you take Brunson and like Nev like to say Randolph,
Hmm.
when you take Randolph off the floor,
Randolph, Zach Randolph.
you take it. No, just joking. I'm joking with Nev. I'm, jo-
Randall.
I'm joking with Nev, right? I'm joking with Nev. But
I know.
when you take Brunson and Randall off the floor,
Right.
right, and you have Quickly and McBride in your backcourt, you don't get consistent outside shooting on a nightly basis, right? So saying optimizing the offense with Brunson, Randall, and Brunson, you're okay with that because you got three dudes averaging 20 points a game,
Yeah,
right? Right.
they can get a bucket whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, yeah. What I'm saying is when the after the game starts and then you start staggering those two or three, right? When Randall comes out and RJ and Brunson are still on the floor, you need to be able to depend on Obi to knock down shots. And I think you
But
can
I
if he
but
ever touches the ball.
that's fair. But if you're running a read and react offense with guys that aren't the highest of IQs, hyper ironically,
Right.
um, you you run yourself in a position where your reads get predictable, and after the first two actions, they just end up going right back to isolation. I don't know if you recall this play, but we were working ourselves back into a game with IQ, right? And IQ, we ran a play where we had one or two actions, and then after the two actions didn't work because we don't really run a motion offense, we just
Right.
resorted to straight isolation. So when teams pick up on what we want to do, once they stop the initial pick and roll or they stop the secondary action off of the pick and roll, which is it's just pretty predictable in today's NBA because we're not running anything that's reinventing the wheel, just running pick and roll, high pick and roll, where guys stationary in the corners. It's it, once you stop that, we just resort straight to isolation ball, which is even easier to defend. And
Right.
that goes back to how we even run our offense in general. So, for instance, we could run we run that same stuff with IQ, but we run it with Brunson. The only difference is Brunson is a very efficient player that can make tough shots on a night in and night out basis. But if Brunson has an off night, it looks
Like last
horrendous.
night. Like last night.
Yes, it
Yeah.
looks terrible.
Right.
And it looks like we don't know how to pivot away from that because we only play one way. And
Right.
and if you want to play the one way type of way, it's fine. But unless you have an immovable object out there that's just unstoppable, you need to know how to pivot. Brunson is only 5'10" on a good day. I'm saying, like, we
Right.
can't
Right.
expect them to save us with 30 pieces every night. He tried to
Right.
over the
Right.
last 10 or so games. He tried, but when you're trying to force yourself to get hard buckets every single night and you're not deciding to use the guys that are on your team that have a skill set that might be more conducive to getting easier buckets, like in a pick and roll, like a roller, like Obi, and you just make them guys that sit up in the corner and watch the other actions away from him happen, and then expect him to do something off the catch and shoot. It's kind of not fair. It's kind of not fair to expect like conducive offense. And we have so many issues at this point. Like we've been legitimately at the bottom of the league in assists for like the last 2 months, and this is by no mistake. We don't take easy shots, and teams are taking away the easy read out of the pick and roll, so they're forcing us into isolation work,
Okay.
and it kind of devolved into that because of the offense that we run, the read and react, and then what we do, we read that there's nothing open, and when we react with isolation play, and we're just running into the same thing over and over.
All
We
right.
got
So
a
let
lot
me.
of issues over here, man.
But okay. So Anthony D, thank you for the generous contribution. Anthony D says, Lawrence Tears, we work hard. Yeah, we work hard. Anthony D, thank you for that. Yo, Rel, what's good, boss?
Not much, man. It wasn't a good night for us. We just lost, so just
Who,
another day
who'd,
for us, man. You know how it is, man.
Who'd y'all
who'd you
play?
play? Yeah, I missed that.
Who? Oh, the Clippers.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I think Kawhi went off because I was just looking at statistics
See, the
earlier.
thing is though, it's like Kawhi didn't go off. He had a pretty good game. It was
Yeah,
just I don't know, man. We're right now. We're at a point. It's like I feel like we overachieved, and now it's just kind of like coming to the surface now. So we're kind of like what Dre was just saying a minute ago, man. It's like we kind of feel that way with Luke. It's like we don't go out there and get you 30, we lose. This is how it is with us, man. And we don't
Right.
have enough guys on our team to where Luca can take a night off. You know what I'm saying? And just like he can go out there and score 12 points like a Tatum or a Jokic or somebody like that. Like, nah, this dude got to get you 30 or just to win by 4 points. You know what I'm saying? Or if he gets under 30, it's a coin toss that we might lose the game. You know what I'm saying? And so
Okay.
we're at that point right now, man. We're just praying and waiting for the trade deadline, man.
Um, what I was gonna say, I'm not. I don't watch much Dallas here lately because
oh,
um
I watched a Dallas
it-
game.
it-
At least I watch maybe two a week over here.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Dre. I know you watching. I know you
So,
watching.
but what I was getting at is I'm trying to make the transition with technology, so I
Right.
don't get the. I'm trying to move the channel in a different direction. So I'm working on some stuff. But bro, Dallas is gonna be all right, right? The Knicks, however, are starting behind the eight ball. See, the Mavs, even if this season doesn't go okay, like y'all can lose every game for the rest of the season, right? And at the end of the season, they're like, well, how do we turn this thing around? Y'all could say, hey man, we need to get Luka Doncic some help. But y'all have a starting point with a guy,
Right.
right? If the
I knew
Knicks
where you
lose
were going
every
with that.
game for
Yeah.
the rest of the season,
Right.
if the Knicks lose every game for the rest of the season, we are gonna be like, we need to trade for a star.
Wait, no. If we lose every game for the season, we gonna be
Yeah.
talking about who's the backup that we're gonna draft behind whoever.
Yeah.
If Tibbs is still here, we're gonna be drafting a backup for somebody. that's who,
Right,
that's who
right,
we,
right.
that's who we gonna be drafting another Obi, man. That's what
And
we're gonna
and
be doing.
and so the point
Oh
that
man.
I'm getting at though is like in Dallas's case, where they have quality NBA players that they dislike,
Right.
I think Dallas can make moves, right? Because Dallas has quality NBA players that they dislike, right? The- Spencer
Mm,
Dinwiddie may not be
I would say we
optimal,
have at least, if you talk about people with value to move, right?
right?
Like you said, Spencer Dinwiddie and Christian
Right,
Wood. And
right,
if you want to throw in our two young guys and Josh Green and Jaden Hardy, those are more like kind of sweeten the pot a little bit, right?
right.
Because they have rookie contracts, so their contracts are not heavy enough to get you anything major back in return. Those guys are the kind of guys who can take the place of a first round pick. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying, in a
Yeah.
trade. But other than that, like I don't know if y'all guys watch ESPN's Hoop Collective. They just
okay.
had a show a few days ago talking about the Mavericks in this situation, right?
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
Tim Bontemps, they were talking about the fact that we got players that listen, our players we have to attach first rounds to get rid of.
Okay,
Other than a Spencer Dinwiddie or a Christian Wood or somebody like that, right?
right,
Other than
right,
that, everybody else on that team, every trade scenario I hear out there with us is always a first round attached to one of those players. So
right.
we got players who underperform their contracts, like Darvish Bertans. Dude
Right.
played 5 minutes today and don't play again for another 2 weeks, right? But guess what? He's like the third or fourth highest paid player on our team. So
Okay.
your contract does not match the value that you're giving for that contract. So for
Right.
me to move you, I have to attach a first round pick.
So it's not a value contract.
It's definitely not a value contract. Let me ask you a question. Do
No.
you want Darvish Bertans for 16 million?
No.
Oh
There
nah.
you go.
No.
I don't
Exactly.
want I don't want
And
I don't
that's
want
what we're
Davis
dealing with right
Bertans,
now.
period.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's kind of stuff we got to deal with. If we want to get rid of that contract, we have to attach the first round with it.
Right.
How many years did Kristaps have on his deal before he traded him? It's like two.
I
I
think it was
think how
two.
many years? I think he had two.
Yeah, I think it was two. Yeah, I think it was two.
Let me check.
Okay.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
two questions. What happened to Dorian Kenny-Smith?
He was
Dorian
hurt.
Nah, he back.
Finney-Smith.
He was hurt.
Oh,
He
okay.
was hurt, but he's been back
Yeah, he
in
been
the
back for like the
fold.
last like 3 games.
Yeah.
Okay. And number two, there was a speedy point guard you guys have. Is he playing? I thought he was making a difference when I saw him in like several games
Speedy
ago.
point guard.
Got him from the G League.
Talking about James Hardy?
You talking about right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
He's a 2-way player. He's not playing right now.
Oh,
I think they sent him back down. I think.
wow. I
Because
thought it was pretty good.
Josh Green came back. And
Yeah, Josh Green
kinda-
came back. So yeah,
So
we only had
they
them
got
up because
lots
we
of
didn't have any
spots.
bodies. Yeah.
Yeah, monster spots. As soon as Jane Hardy started playing well, they just cut ties with what's his name, Kemba,
Kemba, yeah.
just
Yeah.
because they didn't need
But,
the body
but
anymore.
we knew Kemba was washed from the get go,
Yeah.
bro.
But
Kemba can give you 25 points if you let him rest for 2 weeks.
Hey,
Yeah.
and Dre, it was funny about that, bro. He did that because against Cleveland, he scored 34. And then after
Right.
that, he didn't. I don't think he even cracked like 5 points after that. You know what I'm saying? And I think
Yeah,
he got
'cause
that
he's
34 after resting, like you said, a couple weeks. Because when we picked him up, he didn't play for
Right.
You
like
got
I think
you
like
got
2
to
weeks
break
or
you
whatever.
got to break him in case of emergency if you gonna
Yeah,
have him.
that's what he
That's
was.
the only like way you can have him. But you can't keep that type of roster spot in this NBA, man.
No,
Yeah.
not for teams that want to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Not for playoff teams. Not for playoff hopefuls, bro.
and that's
Nah,
all part of
and
mismanagement on our front office's part, right?
I
You
was
didn't
seeing
handle the Jalen
rumors.
Brunson situation right. Y'all got him. You know what I'm saying? You just didn't handle that properly. You didn't get a backup. You know, in case he did go to another team. You just felt like, we got Tim Hardaway coming back, like the most
That's what
inconsistent
I
player in
heard.
the league, and you want to replace Jalen Brunson with him, right?
I think
And it's
Mark
like he
Cuban was
struggled
like,
in our offense
"Oh,
last year, but you think he's gonna come back this year and be better? Like,
no.
I
No,
thought
man.
Mark Cuban was like, oh, that's just like adding another player
yeah,
because he
adding
was
another
hurt."
free agent.
I'm like, no,
They
no, he's
undervalue
not.
Jalen Brunson bad, man, and a lot of Mad fans right now are still hurt by that, man. This is like I don't. You did not come with a plan B. You could have had Gordon Dragic. He over there balling right now in Chicago. Because
Right.
we had him, but Kid promised him only playing about 5 minutes a game if he do play,
Right.
and he's
Why
playing
would
way
he do
more than
that?
5 minutes. And he's playing every game over there in Chicago
Why
Yeah.
would he do that?
Because it's Jason Kidd,
because
man.
of Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's old school, man. He's old school like Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
close to Thibodeau.
He
But this
misevaluated the whole
this
situation.
this is kind of almost. I don't want to say it, but this is kind of like every other stop Jason Kidd has ever been to. The first year they overachieve or play at a
Yep.
high level. Then
Yep.
the
Right.
next year you
Second
hear
year.
murmurs that it's not working.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
We talked
but
about that
the
on our
thing
show.
is like the thing is the first year he like unlocks something or he takes
Yeah.
a guys to a next
Or
level, another
somebody.
level.
Yeah.
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 And then the next year you see stagnancy. You don't really see any change. You see like murmurs and whispers of people like not really
Inconsistent
feeling how he's
rotations.
coaching. Yeah. And
Yeah, he's
then
very rigid.
He's
Yeah.
very
then
Tom Thibodeau.
and then he loses the team in the next year or at
Typical
the end of the year he loses them and then they
Yeah.
just let him go. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of look, man, we're all almost in the same pot. I think we almost have the same record as the Mavericks or close to it.
Probably do.
Yeah.
Like
Let me ask you
25 or
another
23.
question. Christian Woods, how is his play overall?
He's been good, man. When they
Yeah.
finally put him in the starting lineup, we've been asking for the last 800 years.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
he's
It's
I
hurt
like,
thought
right
he
now,
I
though.
thought he should have been in the starting line from day
listen,
one.
you and everybody else thought that, man. Probably except for like one or
I,
two people that follow our
but
channel, but
but he
you know,
was like,
like yeah, he should have been starting.
Yeah.
but the coach was like, Maxi Kleber needs to start for
Yeah,
defensive purposes or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's just
And
like
and Dre, where's Maxi Kleber at right now?
hurt,
On
I
the
think.
bench.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I mean, every year he gets hurt. So
Exactly. And you know what's funny too? You said that, man, because I think I told Freezy this. We was talking the other day, and I said, man, look, this is the part that makes me mad about my franchise, right? So we let talent walk out the door. I don't know how many times Mark Cuban's lied and said, "Oh, we're gonna sign that guy back." Jalen Brunson, for example. Oh, we're gonna do everything. We're gonna sign him back. He ain't going nowhere. Where's Jalen Brunson at right now, right? So
Right.
the thing that gets me about this team is you'll let Tyson Chandler go, you'll let Steve Nash go, you'll let Karan Butler go, you'll let Jalen Brunson go, but you constantly keep signing extensions for Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell, and you wonder why we're in the boat we're in right now
he
because they're
better not
locker
play.
room guys and they're just great for the community. You want to keep those guys, but those locker room great for the community guys don't get you anywhere. Cause look
They
where we're
don't
sitting at
win
right now with
nothing.
those locker room great community guys.
Right.
He better
Listen,
he better hope
we
Luca is as loyal as Dirk is.
but see the thing is though, Dre, there's already news going out. Shout out to Tim McMahon. There's already news going out that Luca's demanded that they make some moves this trade deadline, bro.
Trade
He's not
deadline,
playing
yep.
no more, man. I don't know
Yep.
if y'all heard
When you
about
when you an
we had a
MVP
mural
contender in your
downtown.
fifth year, if you an MVP contender in your fifth year, you better make moves. Is they're legitimately treating it like the LeBron situation when he first was at
No,
Cleveland.
not only that, they're treating it like the Dirk situation. See, a lot of people
Right.
don't understand what happened with Dirk when he was here, right?
Right.
Like Mark Cuban had Dirk take pay cuts for like 3 or 4 years in a row,
Yep.
and what he had to show for it. You
Now,
didn't get anything back in return. You had this man take pay cuts for what?
right.
Now, luckily, Dirk got a championship, but look what Dirk had to go through to get his championship. We hear
Hella
all these
hot
stories
water.
about these guys that they could have got to team up with Dirk, like a Paul Pierce or a Kobe or a Shaq or whatever. All these guys that went on record before saying, "Yeah, I almost went to Dallas." Chris Paul talked about the fact that they almost came to Dallas. It was him and Dwight Howard the year that Dwight Howard opted into his contract with Orlando instead of opting out. If he had opted out, him and Chris Paul would have both came to Dallas.
Okay.
Could have had Chris Paul. The Darren Williams situation.
Right.
They botched that whole entire thing. I don't know if y'all heard about that story. That Mark Cuban chose Shark Tank over trying to get Darren Williams. You know what I'm saying? It's just the incompetency with this team, man, in the front office. It's killing.
Right.
And I tell folks all the time, we had these same problems that we had with the former regime, with the Donnie Nelsons and the Rick Carlisles, right? That we're having right now. What's the common denominator? It's Mark Cuban.
Right.
If everything is still happening just like the last time, then what's the common denominator? That's
Hey,
why,
but
I'm
Ralph,
not saying
you know
those
what,
guys
though?
are out of blame, but you got to put majority of the blame on Mark Cuban. He's the head of the snake.
But in the NBA, bro, in the NBA, hands-on owners never win. If the most high-profile person in your organization is the owner,
Mm-hmm.
you never win.
And you know what?
Look at Mickey Aronson. When I say Mickey Aronson, do people know who Mickey Aronson is?
Beyond
The owner
the
of
casual fan doesn't know that, but I know.
the owner of the Miami Heat, right? Do people know who the owners of the San Antonio Spurs are? Nope. Right? And even though Golden State had an ownership change, and you see the owner occasionally, there are so many layers between the common fan and the owner in Golden State. That is ridiculous. But then when you look at the Lakers, the Buss family, the Buss family is out front. They always have drama, and aside from the bubble, the bubble is the exception. Right? The bubble is the exception. Aside from that, how have the Lakers looked, knowing that the Buss family is out front? And right now, to this moment, you don't even know, or the casual fan doesn't even know, who owns the Boston Celtics. You know what I mean? But when your owner is out front, just like James Dolan, how Dolan used to be, every time you turn around, you see Dolan.
Dancing.
Yeah, all up in your videos.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so it's one of the things that shout out to Demond and them from We Talk Hawks. Their ownership is out front ahead of everything now. and the Hawks look like a grease fire, right? I mean, they
Right.
hot now, but
They
for the
they just
majority of the
lost.
season, yeah. But for the majority of the season, though, they have looked crazy.
It was always some story coming out about what's going on over there in their front office, man.
Right, bro. You got to get a team president, right? You got to go get a basketball man, not a businessman. You got to get
Man,
a
that
basketball
shots at
man.
shots at us, man.
No.
With the
That's
whole
not.
Nico Harrison, because everybody
No.
called him a shoe salesman, man. It was just like,
We were joking. You call it Sal Bundy.
yeah,
Call it Sal Bundy, but no,
right,
but no. I'm taking a shot at us because we have a businessman running the front office in Leon Rose, and even
yeah,
though he's been around basketball, right? Leon Rose don't give you the impression that he can spot talent. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Think about all the draft picks that Leon Rose has made since he's been here. Obi, Grimes, Jokovitis, Quickly, McBride,
Oh, I didn't know
Sims.
Quigley was Leon Rose.
Yeah. Actually, the Oklahoma City Thunder drafted Emmanuel Quickly, and we traded for his rights on draft night,
Right.
right? But all those dudes that I just mentioned, none of those dudes are 15-point per game scorers after 3 years. Right? The highest, the dude that's averaging the most points is Quickly with 12.4 for his career for this season, not for his career.
Right.
Right?
Dang, man.
And so I said all of that to say this. Like when you have the business guys running the franchise, you always get these situations where they think about the community and long term and all that stuff and don't think about winning every game on a nightly basis. And I'm sorry, Leon Rose can say that, right? Like, no, man, we want to win championships.
He
You
supposed to
got to
say
build
that,
this.
yeah.
Nah,
Hey,
every
Freezy,
team, huh?
we have this thing where we have all these nice guys on this team, just a bunch of
Same thing
nice
with
guys.
Dallas. Same thing
Yeah,
with
same with
Dallas.
us. And y'all know what though? To think, what like you said with Leon Rose, right? And with we throw Rob Palinka in there.
Right.
Also with we have Nico Harris. It's like a lot of these teams now are kind of piggyback what you just said. It's the fact that they're starting to hire guys who have relationships,
Right.
and they think that that's gonna help the French. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, Nico was a Nike guy, right? So he's cool with all these Nike guys in the league right now.
All the Nike
But it's
Mhm.
like, but that's fine. That's totally different from you actually putting a team together
But do
and
you
having
know
it fit
basketball?
cohesively as a perfectly together. That's completely different from you signing this guy to a shoe deal, man.
Sound familiar, Knicks fans? Relationship guys,
Breezy.
CAA, sound familiar?
Yeah, and that's why. Remember, that's why they y'all hired Leon Rose, right? It's like
The,
because y'all
the
having
thing,
problems to get those free agents or whatever. Everybody heard y'all's names attached to. They
yeah.
figured, hey, a guy like Leon Rose who has connections will get those guys over here.
Yeah.
But this is the downfall of the connections because Leon Rose has a front office headed with like a lot of smart guys, but
Right.
there's there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So we end up doing too many different things at one time with no real clear vision in sight. Well, like for example, we draft Obi Toppin. Randall's supposed to be gone, but we keep Randall because he has connections with Kentucky and World Wide West, which we also hired. And we had Walt Perrin.
Right.
Walt Perrin drafted all of these value guys. Like Grimes is a value guy, drafted number 25. Quickly is a value guy, drafted number 25. All these guys we've drafted, they have a purpose. There's a rhyme and a reason for it. But the other guys are on this team are for other connections, CAA connections, for instance, or William Wesley connections. We had a bunch of Kentucky guys on the roster. We had a Kentucky coach
2
on
years,
this roster.
2 years ago. 2
Yeah,
years.
we had
We were the
Kenny
New
Payne,
York Wildcats. Yeah.
and that's
Bro,
because of the
bro,
William
we brought
Wesley
in
effect.
Michael. We signed Michael K. Gilchrist, bro.
Hey, we did too. Don't feel bad.
You know, we got them from y'all. We got them from
Oh,
y'all.
he went to y'all after us?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
man. I apologize, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
The
And then we had a
ugliest
bunch
job
of
I call
Duke
your
guys
life,
because
bro.
of like we had a bunch of Duke guys because of CAA connections. So
Right.
it's like a we have way too many like too many cooks in the kitchen, and we have no real identity as
Right.
or we have no real direction that we're pushing towards because we have so many different guys trying to put their imprint, put their little 2 cents on it. And this is why it makes it hard for us to make the big decision whether we decide to go all in on winning or go all in on rebuilding because we're so
Right.
afraid of pushing the big button because that would mean alienating a certain group of these connections that he's made. Like we have Brock
Is that
Aller, the capologist. We have Walt Perrin, our drafting guy, like our big time scout that drafts for us and makes all the nice decisions as far as value for us. And we have
so?
William Wesley, which is a grifter that knows everybody.
Let me ask you a question, Dre. Is that why y'all didn't get the? Is that why the whole Donovan Mitchell thing fell through? Because
Yes.
of hands in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And it kind
How do you mess
of,
something up like that? That's all I don't
but
understand. But
but
listen, y'all were the only ones before we found out that the Jazz made the trade. I mean, that Cleveland was in there. It was just y'all the whole entire time, bro. I'm thinking like, listen, just get it done. We already know y'all want them. It's nobody else trying to get them or whatever. It's the Knicks, right?
And I saw like a news story, well, article basically confirmed. Well, Stephen A. Smith basically confirmed like Danny Ainge was not trying to trade with us because we went to
and I've
that
been
Dallas
telling
game.
y'all that the whole I was telling y'all that the whole
And you
time,
know,
and
and you know who
everybody
told us
thought
that?
that I was crazy.
It was grifting as William Wesley's fault that even
Yep.
happened because he
Yep.
put that together.
I was saying it the whole time, bro, that we not getting Donovan Mitchell because it doesn't take 90 days to
Thank
negotiate,
you. I was
bro.
thinking, bro, y'all were the only name attached to that trade. So everybody's like, what's going on? Just get them and let's get this over with,
And
right?
then,
And,
but the excuse was after the fact. The excuse after the fact was that Leon Rose wasn't involved. He left it to his minions, which makes me think if you're not involved in this Donovan Mitchell deal, what do you really get involved in, and why do
Listen,
we need you?
you know what? It's funny you said that because when Dre brought up the hands in the kitchen, right?
Right?
Like it's kind of like the issue we having, right? We all know who made the final decisions, but they want to sell to us. That is Nico.
Okay.
Now we made these moves so far this summer that shows it's like who is the one who's making the decision? Because that was the problem we had towards the end of Rick Carlisle and Donnie Nelson's tenure. We don't
Okay.
know who was making the decisions. Supposedly we thought we knew, but at the end of the day, after these articles and stuff through ESPN, Tim McMahon or Tim Cato and them come out, it's telling us like, no, like I don't know if y'all remember during the draft day, we were trying to make a trade with Miami that fell through
okay.
because Miami was getting phone calls from two different people, from either Bob Voulgaris or Donnie Nelson.
Okay.
Donnie wanted, Olenek and Derrick Jones Jr.
Okay.
Bob Voulgaris wanted Goran Dragic at the time when he was with Miami. So
Okay.
that trade fell through because they don't know who to call, who to talk to, who we making this deal with, what's going on or whatever.
Right.
It's-
So
Right.
that
Right.
was a big problem. And it's just like now you see that we got JaVale McGee. Now we talked about on our show, we didn't hear anything. We did not hear JaVale McGee's name attached to Dallas, which we don't really hear a lot of stuff that's true attached to Dallas. Usually rumors because they keep stuff close to the vest. But the point is, we didn't hear any rumors either about him being attached to Dallas. And all of a sudden, he just after blue, we got JaVale McGee. So
Okay.
come to find out, there's people talking that wasn't even a Nico decision. That was a Jason Kidd decision, right? Now you preached to us in y'all little press conference when we hired y'all. Nico, you the boss, man. You the boss. It's Nico. He the boss. He the boss. He the boss. But it's like, so then how all of a sudden did we end up getting JaVale McGee and they saying that it had something to do with Jason Kidd? Promised
Right.
him a
It's just a
starting position to
figurehead,
get him over
man.
here.
Just a
You know what I'm
Like
saying?
figurehead.
like Scott Perry.
Or when we got so they're saying that the Christian Wood thing that was a Nico decision. So people starting to speculate like, oh, Jason Kidd's not starting him because he didn't want him. Nico wanted him. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So you got this kind of like we don't know force push between
It's
both of the
it's
head
the
coach
same
and the
thing we
GM
got
and all
here,
that.
man. He got the same thing
Yeah.
because Cam Reddish came here. We know Tibbs didn't want him. He did not want him. He still doesn't want him. He never wanted him. He was forced to play
So
him.
just don't
I,
try to like. I don't understand the Cam Reddish situation. Listen, I'm a guy outside looking in, right?
Right.
And listen, y'all go to Mad Twitter. Everybody want Cam Reddish in Mad Twitter, right? Because we saw what he did. He's like, look, last
Y'all
year
can
in
have
Atlanta or
them.
whatever.
yeah, can't have
Listen,
him, man.
I don't know why. I don't understand what's up with these coaches and like you have this idea that you don't want this player, so you're just gonna completely sabotage it. The
Right.
same thing that happened when we had Dennis Smith Jr. come here to Dallas and we had Rick Carlisle. He already had in mind frame, I don't want him. So you're sabotaging him.
Right.
Now
It's like
understand that
ruins
hurts you.
generational wealth. That ruins generational wealth at that too. Like you're really costing someone's life, their livelihood.
Yeah.
You do
Because
stuff
look
like
at it,
that.
man. Like think about it. But Dennis Smith was not the same after his rookie year.
No.
He had
was not.
potential to be better than what he was his rookie year, and he completely just stunted his growth.
Right.
Because you didn't want him. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, instead of like understand you didn't want him, bro, but that this is still your job to coach this guy and make him a better player to help
Thank
your team.
you. Thank you.
It helps your team. Like, don't you understand you're
Thank
sabotaging
you.
yourself?
Right.
Thank
Like I didn't
you.
understand it. But
It's but when you say like you mentioned Jason Kidd had input on the roster,
right.
Tom Thibodeau has input on every roster he goes on. Everywhere he goes, there's a former Bulls player or two
Yeah.
or three on it. And this is what I mean that there's too many cooks in the kitchen. If Randall for whatever reason, if Tom Thibodeau were to get a job somewhere else 5 years from now and Randall fell off a cliff, you know where Randall's gonna be? Right next to
Where
Tom
Tom Thibodeau
Thibodeau
is. Yep.
on another team. Once you get in his good graces, you're good in his book forever. So wherever he's gonna go, he's gonna pressure that front office. Hey, I want this guy, especially if it's a cheat. If it's somebody you can get on vet minimum, please put him in over here. Get him here right now.
Taj Gibson, anybody?
Yeah,
Well,
we
Taj Gibson
paid
stayed in the league
Taj
longer than he's
Gibson.
supposed to.
Yeah, he'll be
Tom
starting on
Thibodeau.
our team.
We gave him
Man.
$10 million when he was nothing more than a vet minimum player.
Man,
Ah,
you know what's funny though, Dre, what you just said with the
yeah,
whole, too many hands in the kitchen, and you saying that Tom Thibodeau has power where he went. In the case of Jason Kidd, what did that get you in Brooklyn and Milwaukee?
not a, fired. That's what
Thank
I got
you.
him.
Thank you. That's the
Oh,
same thing
okay,
we was talking
interesting.
about an
Gotcha,
hour
gotcha.
ago. Yep. Yep.
So I'm just like, so what makes you think he come here? Oh, you know what? I know you got fired because you were meddling with the roster and all that stuff in the last two stops, but I'm telling you, this time it's gonna work. I promise y'all it's gonna work. So
Yeah.
how's that going for us this year? Because you signed a guy as your starting center that don't see the floor right now, so that's money wasted.
Right.
That you could have used that money to get a guy like Goran Dragic. Because guess what? You need a ball handler,
Yep.
right? You use that money that's sitting there wasting on the roster that you could have gave to that ball handler that we need right now. That could contribute right now.
Man, if you get to this level of basketball, there are things that are you're gonna be known for eternity because
Yep.
you have to like in order to be successful in basketball or to get to this level, you have to have a signature, you have to have a trait that's something that's your calling card, that's who you are, that's never gonna change. There are very, very rare instances where someone changes who they are within the ranks
Yep.
of the NBA after they get there. You are who you are, especially as an executive or a coach. Like the same things that we've been complaining about Tom Thibodeau, I could pull up articles from 2012, bro, that say the
Well, they saying the same thing. Yep.
exact same things. 2017, the exact same things. And you could say that for the coach in Atlanta, where if you go over there, you hear them complaining
Oh,
about those things. It's the
same thing. Yep.
same things that
Hey, and Dre,
people
you
were
know what's funny
complaining
about
about
that,
him
bro?
in Portland.
You
Yeah.
know what's funny about that, bro? It's like you would think, like, say maybe after the second time you got a job and got fired, right? You would think, like, you know what? I've been doing the same thing the last two stops. Let me change my ways.
Right.
No, and that's the problem, bro. It's like you said. You said the Nate McMillan. We can get on him too, right? Tom Thibodeau been how many stops did Tom Thibodeau had?
Off.
3.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I'm talking about. Like you telling me after maybe the second stop, it didn't click with you. Like yo, let me change something. No,
No.
you like you know what? This
No.
didn't work the last 5 times. I'm gonna try it again. I'm telling you, it's gonna work this time.
No.
But you know, I got an answer.
Definition
Yeah,
of insanity.
I have a solution for y'all. I think if you add this one player right? For just give up a second round pick. He solves a lot of y'all issues.
Is he a big?
No,
Oh,
it's Alec Burks.
no, Freezy. I don't want y'all. You trying to give us your guy?
No, no, I'm
I
trying to
mean,
give you a type. I'm trying to give you a type of guy, right? Alec Burks, Josh Richardson, 6'6" guy that could play the 2 and 3, maybe some one in spells, right? On nights that you mentioned, like where Luca is can take, say Luca has played a back to back, and then they have a day off, and then there's another game, say off in another city. You can
Right.
give Luca that night off and be okay with Dinwiddie
Whoever.
and
Whoever.
Alec Burks,
yeah,
or
You,
I feel that
with them.
Freezy, like
And,
not even like to take the night off. You could like Luca plays the whole first quarter, bro. Like what superstar like on a night to night basis, what superstar plays the whole first quarter, then comes right back in at the 9 minute mark of the second quarter?
right,
Like,
right, and so the
hey,
point that I'm
and
the point
Dre, it's to the point now he's starting to play the whole fourth quarter now in some games.
right
oh
Freezy,
my god.
and
Freezy.
so
Yeah.
hold on, just
Oh,
let me
Yeah,
finish
go
my
ahead,
point,
Freeze. Go
man.
ahead,
Oh, go
Freeze.
ahead.
My
Go ahead.
bad. My
I,
bad.
Let me
My
I
bad,
got
Freeze.
to
so,
the
so,
chance.
what I'm saying is just in a space where Dallas is Dallas is not able to pull off a super trade, right? Dallas is not going to be able to go get the cat Zach Levine. They're not going to be able to do that, right? So instead of having just spot up shooters that don't know how to dribble and they're known for defense but can't defend, you go get a Swiss Army knife type of guy, right, to give you lineup flexibility with Luca. So regardless of what the other three players can do, right? You add an Alec Burks. Say for instance, you run a lineup with Burks, Dinwiddie, and Luca, right? Now Alec Burks can play the three for y'all, be a spot up shooter, defend a little bit, run a little point, take, you know what I'm saying? Because every NBA minute is not the same, right? Like Luca's 40 minutes a game is not like Giannis's 40 minutes a game. Because Giannis takes long stretches in the game where he rests. He just
Yep.
jogging up and down the
Can
floor,
he
not
do
doing
it?
nothing.
Yep.
Because he's
Yep.
got Drew Holiday, he's got Chris Middleton, he's got Brooke Lopez, he's got
Yep.
Bobby Portis, he's got all those type of guys. Jalen Brunson's 40 minutes, he is working his behind off the entire time because the drop off from him to Miles
Ooh, y'all
McBride,
gotta drop off.
right,
Y'all gotta
to
drop
Miles
off,
McBride
man.
Oh my
is
Yeah.
god.
is, is significant.
Ooh, y'all
So
gotta
by
drop.
adding,
I can tell you that. Oof,
right,
man.
so adding an Alec Burks, what it does is it adds you a veteran with playoff experience. B, it gives you a multi-dimensional guy where you can do multiple things with your lineups and things, right? And C, Alec Burks makes $10 million this year. And y'all have multiple dudes on the roster that make more than $10 million, right?
What?
Y'all can share the contract and give up, say, a couple of seconds to Detroit. Detroit's rebuilding. They would take dead money, so to speak. That would be, say, an expiring next year, so they can flip it again and get more draft picks to continue their rebuild. So
See,
it makes sense for Dallas because you don't need a guy that's better than Luca, and
no.
plus y'all can't afford it, right?
Th-
But
th- th-
what Alec Burks does is instead of those 40 hard minutes that Luca play every night, Luca played 36 hard minutes every night.
You see,
And while that seems like it's nothing, it's everything.
I see what you're going with the Alex Burke thing. If
Can,
you ask me, if he
can I
had,
make a point?
yeah, go ahead, man, go ahead.
Yeah, before. Um, I have watched Dallas team, and to me, Dallas' biggest problem is that they play very slow. They walk up everything.
Yeah,
Right.
So to me, I that's why I thought what's that kid name? Hardy would make a difference because he can speed up the tempo. You know, that is not to me, that is Dallas' biggest problem. Is
man, you
they
preaching,
walk
man. You a preacher. Go ahead.
literally walk everything up and they play
Yep.
half court game. Everything is
I'm
a half court game.
I'm
They
I'm
need
a,
some easy bucket.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Nev. Though I'm not sure you want to play an up and down tempo game
No.
against teams
Dre, listen.
No,
yeah, yeah.
no.
I'm saying against teams with more talent than you. The
No,
the
but the
Right.
thing,
reason
this
why,
the thing.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
I was saying like the reason why I feel like Luca plays the slowed down tempo game because it limits possessions to the other team,
Yeah.
and Luca is more efficient than you are in the half court. So if
Yeah.
you're playing an up and down game, that just gives more possessions to a team that might have more talent as a whole, top to bottom,
But
to
I
outshine
agree
you.
with Dre on that.
But okay,
Dre,
so
And
but
we talked
but
about this on our show,
let
right?
let let me make
yeah,
this other point.
Go
go
go go
ahead,
They
ahead.
man.
Go
don't
ahead.
need they don't need to play when Luca is off the court, they can speed up the
I've
tempo.
said
Why
that too,
not?
but go ahead.
Hey,
Yeah.
But
but
see the
Okay.
thing
Nav,
too.
but Nav,
That, that, that,
we're
let
assuming.
me say one thing, Freeze, about
Okay.
what you said about the speed thing, right?
Okay.
I talk about this all the time. See, when people say speed, they have this idea in their mind, right? It's like you're constantly running up and down the court, right? It's not about you constantly running up and down the court, but it's about you picking your spots, right?
Okay.
If you know that you're struggling on offense, what's the one thing you want? You want to make as many easy buckets as you can.
Right.
If you're struggling like 4 or 5 possessions in a row in a half court, let's get some defensive stops and let's get in transition. Like right now, of course, like he said, we're dead last in pace or whatever because we're a half court team. We slow it down. Luca's dissecting you in the half court. But when you got young legs like a Josh Green and a Jaden Hardy, you get players like that especially with them being young, and you want them to see the ball go in the basket. Get
Yeah.
them in transition a little bit. I'm not saying go out there and do 7 seconds or less like Phoenix did, but we're talking
Okay,
about
that's fair.
pick your spots.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm struggling right now in the half court. 3 times in a row we didn't score. All right, let's get this defense stopped. As soon as you get it, go push it. Get you a couple buckets in transition, man, to get your rhythm back on offense. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And like Nev said, when Luca's on the bench, you know how it is when Luca's not in the game, man. Either not in the game or not playing at all. We
Right.
become very stagnant on offense. That's when you put. Matter of fact, they did it tonight with Spencer Dinwiddie and them. Now they kind of went away from it towards the end of the game, but they
Right.
started to if Luca's not in here, let's push a little bit. Let's get some easy buckets for the team, make it easy for us, and you keep the defense on their heels. But
Okay.
that's all about coaching, man. It's like that type of stuff like that, man. You have to talk to your team, man, and try to get them to make it easier for them on offense, and they don't do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I feel
Oh,
that. I
but
feel
no,
that.
but Freeze, but what you about to say about what you said about the Allen
Um.
Burke thing?
So
One, I
let
was
me
gonna
let me
say,
just say this just real
oh,
quick.
go ahead.
Just real quick. Um. For one, hey, Hardy ain't ready.
And
Right.
that's what I know. I know.
Hardy ain't ready.
I
In
agree.
theory, that makes a lot of sense. Right now, he is not ready.
I
The
agree.
But when
reason,
he's effective is when he's in transition. That's when he gets most of his buckets in transition. So make it
right,
easier for him by doing it that way.
But they
right,
can look for somebody like that to,
Yeah.
to change the tempo once in a while.
Thank you.
Playing that playing half court game all the time, man. That's
Yeah. That's
that's
why
that's
defense has been trapping Luca because they're playing a lot of half court defense instead of
yeah.
getting in
right,
transition and to free up the offense a little bit.
right. So, but here's the thing that I want to mention to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just really quick, right? When you're talking about that scenario right there, first of all, the Dallas Mavericks are 17th in points given up per game. So now you're asking the Dallas Mavericks to get a stop, right? And then on top of that, when they get a stop, the Dallas Mavericks are last in the NBA in rebounding,
Yep.
right? So in theory, what you're saying makes total sense. But in practice, it doesn't work with Dallas, right? Because they can't get a stop, and then when the team misses, they can't get the rebound. So how are you going to get out and run with fresh legs from young guys that are inexperienced if the defense is? And I'm not talking trash about Dallas. Rel, this is in all due respect.
Right.
I
No,
got the
I heard
stats
you.
from ESPN.
You're not saying nothing we don't
ESPN.com.
talk about all the time. So
Right,
yeah.
right. So in respect to the Mavs, they can't defend and they can't rebound. So how you gonna get out and run?
So
So are you gonna get live ball turnovers, right? Okay, so the alternative is live ball turnovers, right? Not travels, not none of that, right? Deflection, steals, live ball turnovers. The Mavs don't get those either, right?
so the thing
So how
too
you
with
gonna
that,
get out
right?
and run when the thing that starts your run game is not there?
So okay. That's why I was gonna touch on what you said about the Alex Burke thing. Like Alex Burke is not a piece that we would need more than we need a big. We
Okay.
need a big. I can't stress that any more than what I'm saying. We need a big. We can't, like you said, we're last in rebounding.
Right.
There's a lot of times Dallas will get a stop, but they can't close that stop out because they can't get the rebound.
And the
You got
gap,
teams
How
that
can
get
they
and the gap from
board?
extra.
and the gap from 29 to 30 is like 4 rebounds.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Jesus,
The-
I didn't know it was that
the-
bad.
the
I knew we I know we told about. I don't think we've ever. I can't remember last year. Maybe since last year, I don't remember a game we
So
won
it's
the
two.
rebound battle.
So it's 2 rebounds. I'm sorry. It's
I mean,
2 rebounds.
still though, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I say like, okay, so to ask what you said, we didn't have a big last year, but we were top 10. I'm sorry, top 5 in defense most of the year.
Right.
I think the lowest we fell was 7.
With 7.
So
yeah.
it can happen. We just had a lot of our defensive key guys hurt for like 20, 30 games or whatever since
Right.
he got back.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's gonna take some rhythm for them to get back into that. That's not to say that that's the answer to everything, right? Because we play more of a scrambling defense because we don't have a big back there. You heard me talk to you about this before.
Right.
That's what JaVale McGee was supposed to be.
Right.
That guy that you can keep throwing on them more aggressive on the perimeter while having an eraser back there I don't got to worry about, right? Like you have remember Detroit back in the day in 05 and all that? Guess how they played their defense? I know I got a guy behind me that's going to erase it if somebody get past me. So
Right.
guess what?
That's
I can do? I
basically
can
what
play a
the
little bit
Knicks
more aggressive
defense
on the
is.
perimeter now.
That's
You say
basically
what,
what the
Dre?
Knicks defense is before Mitch went out. That's basically what we did.
Yeah, because one y'all like top 7 in defense in that one
Right.
stretch.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's why I say like when you said get Alec Burke, if anybody I would. I probably not going to agree because he's one of y'all. He's one of us too, but he's one of y'all for probably a little bit longer. But
Oh well.
yeah, that's how desperate we are.
Right.
That's how desperate we are, bro. We don't have anybody. You know it's bad when you got this guy you picked up in JaVale McGee that's supposed to be that guy to help you back there, and y'all decide to play Darvis Bertans over him at the center.
Right.
You decide to play Theo Pinson
Theo.
at the center.
Wow.
Man,
That's
Powell.
how bad it is for us right now.
Powell will play 30 minutes and get like 2 boards.
Oh, it's funny you said that, Drake, because he did. Well, no, he had 4 today. I'm sorry, he had 4.
Yeah, 4. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot for that boy.
Yeah, that's our starting center. That's our
Oh
starting
my
center.
God.
But for some reason, Jason Kidd loved the guy.
And that's the thing
it's
about
the
our team,
Hartenstein
man.
effect, man. It's the
He
Hartenstein
doesn't
effect.
want,
right there.
he doesn't want to
Hey,
see him.
so it's Hardenstein. What y'all think about him, man? Because we keep hearing a lot of Mad fans
Soft.
they want him now. Like,
They
is he-
crazy.
he's not good at all. Or,
Nah, he ain't no.
Well,
Defensively.
I'm gonna put it this way, Orel. He's being put in a position that he is not good at, and Tibbs does not know how to.
one of those situations.
Tibbs does not know how to pivot to mitigate his negatives. So, like for instance, his assist rate was literally double what it is here
Mhm.
on the Clippers. We don't really utilize his ability to pass or play make a little bit. So when you take away his strengths and then we just try to force him into this role of being a rim protector or a rim runner that can't really rim run because he's not that athletic and he's kind of soft and he gets bullied on the glass, it almost is like we're just throwing out all his negatives and never bringing any of his positives. So we're just putting him in a position where he just looks worse than what he
So he's
already is.
Brad Miller without the toughness.
Right,
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
right.
Basically.
Brad
I ain't
Miller
heard
without
that.
the
I ain't heard
toughness.
that name in 7 years. Basically.
Because when Dre was describing it, his play style and everything, and the way he said he
Like,
could pass and everything. Because remember, they used to play Brad in the block and let him pass
Yeah.
out the block. Backdoor cuts and all that type of stuff.
Out the block off the elbow, they used to let him
Off
make
the elbow,
little
yeah.
decisions.
Yeah.
But he has the ability to pass out the elbow. We've seen it in flashes, but Tibbs is so rigid with how he wants certain players to play that the tertiary player is going to be out the way, and we're going to let the 3 guys that we want to score isolate as much as possible and get what they need to get. And it works. And some nights it works because they're talented, and then some nights it doesn't work because they're talented, but they're not superstars. They're just really good guys.
So y'all want Tibbs to be more creative on offense.
I was, and let me.
Yes.
Oh, of course. But I was going to throw. So I was going to throw.
Man.
So I was going to throw one thing out there. I think that the Mavs could look at.
Hmm.
and it makes a bunch of sense in my mind. If I'm Dallas, right? I call up Demond, right, and talk to him.
Like John Collins.
No, no,
Oh,
hell no, no. What do y'all need with what do y'all need with less defense? Nah,
ooh,
y'all definitely don't need less
shots.
defense. We give y'all Obi for half the price. But but
Jesus.
but 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 nah. What I would say helps y'all right now would be some type of Capella,
I,
DeAndre Hunter
I
swap.
knew you were gonna say that. I knew you.
Yeah,
I take DeAndre Hunter.
right,
I'll take
right.
DeAndre Hunter.
But they're gonna make you take Capella
Probably.
or try to anyway,
Yeah.
because what happens is they're gonna give y'all more talent, right? More, they're gonna give y'all more talent like this type scenario. They give
Hmm.
you more talent, but Capella's contract is like 3 more years on it, right?
Ah,
And
is it
y'all
I
and
think
three?
he
y'all
make
have
I
to
think
give
he
them,
makes like 20 per or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 20. Yeah.
yeah,
And he's
yeah,
always
I thought he
hurt.
signed that like a few years ago though.
yeah, yeah.
They
Right
gave
now,
they traded him there, and then he signed an extension when he got there,
yeah,
if I'm not
Oh, okay.
mistaken.
yeah. He's got $61 million left on his deal. So
Jesus,
it's
that's
this
3
year, it's
years.
this year, and the next 2 years.
Dang. Okay,
Right.
that
And
makes
and
sense.
then but the thing about it is you're not really gonna get a DeAndre Hunter unless you give
You
up
get
either
that
first round
contract.
picks or take on that bad contract.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so they would ask in return, they would ask y'all for a couple of y'all bum players that are about to come off contracts.
But that's a lot of money
Uh,
though because DeAndre
I don't
signed
see
his
that.
extension.
yeah, he signed a
DeAndre has
10-2
an
for like 90
extension,
mil
so
or
his
100 or
money's
something.
gonna jump. His money's gonna
Again
jump
next year.
next year.
Yeah.
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 I don't see the map taking Capella only because he stays in the lane all the time. He doesn't have an outside shot,
Yeah.
and they don't like people in the lane. The map
Well,
plays this. They want their center to be playing on top of the free or somewhere
to be
outside. Where
fair, Nav,
yeah,
No matter who's on the court, Luca can do work if someone's in a
With
dunker spot
whoever
because
is
he's gonna
around.
be
Yeah.
lobs. It's gonna be lobs.
yeah,
He's
That's
going.
what I
He's
was
going.
thinking too. That's what I was thinking,
Like
Dre, like
when
a
he does
lobs.
have a traditional center out there, he throws a ton of lobs. He just usually
Yeah.
doesn't. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
when an athletic 7 footer is out there on the court, he's gonna throw the lob because he's that good of a passer.
Yeah.
As long
Yeah.
as that player can provide enough help on the opposite end, which I'm not sure
Yeah.
Capella can do on a
Can Capella still
consistent
get me
basis.
double rebounds?
I think so.
Double, yeah. He can if he's
I,
healthy. The problem is he's been in and out of
Can't stay healthy.
the
Yeah.
lineup.
right. The problem is Atlanta's defense had been atrocious. Right. Here recently, I think it's been pretty good. Right. But in order to solve, man, in order to solve problems for these teams, bro, like a team like Dallas, like the Knicks, we're not gonna be able to do like the major deal unless it's like major roster reconstruction. And you're not gonna be able to do that at the trade deadline. You gotta do that in the offseason. You know what I'm saying? Like a series of moves, like a flurry of moves you can make, you know what I'm saying, at draft day or something like that. But with the Knicks, on the other hand, um, I can't see the Knicks making a major move because
What, trade deadline? You talking about in the offseason?
I'm talking about at the trade
trade
deadline.
Trade
deadline.
deadline.
Yeah,
I can't see the Knicks making a major move because not because we don't have the assets, but because teams right now are in this weird limbo. They
Yeah.
don't know whether to give up or go
Yep.
for it,
yep.
Yep.
right? And so a team that is probably going to go for it is going to keep their talent, right? Like a Kyle
Right.
Kuzma. Why would the Wizards give up their season when they're 4 games behind the Knicks, and the Knicks just lost their starting center?
Y'all four games behind y'all?
Yep, they can
Yep.
they can legit catch us in about 3 weeks,
Jesus, man.
right? So
Three
so
weeks.
so
3 weeks. Try a week
yeah.
and a half, man.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking we're gonna win some games. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Yeah,
hey, Freezy, like, give us some credit here now.
yeah, man,
But hey,
man.
Freezy,
So,
I'm about to roll out, man.
Peace, bro.
all right, y'all rocking tomorrow.
No, we'll be back on Tuesday.
I'll be back on Tuesday. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
I'll be rocking tomorrow, man. You know the door is always open, bro. In
Oh,
case
no
y'all
doubt,
want to come
man.
through and hang
I
out
got
with
my new
us.
setup, man, so I was just itching to try it out.
Okay,
All right, man.
okay.
Y'all be easy, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
coming through, boss.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, man. That's my man, Real Talk from We Talk Mavs, man.
Shout out to Ron.
Nev, I like having these dudes from other fan bases come in here and holler at us, bro.
Yep.
I ain't even gonna lie. It's you get such a perspective. It's crazy. Dre, do
Objectivity.
you yeah. Hey, Dre, you think the Knicks what do you think the Knicks are gonna do? Is my dream of Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, low hanging fruit, or is it pie in the sky?
Well, okay. What deal did we make last year, if you recall correctly?
Cam.
Cam Reddish. Okay, so Denzel Valentine first, then
Ugh.
Cam Reddish and Solomon Hill.
When was the date? Because those happened pretty early in the trade before the
Yeah,
deadline.
the Cam Reddish deal happened right about this time last year.
Yeah. Like a month before the trading
So
deadline.
Yeah,
right
and the Solomon
before
and
right before we collapsed.
right, and the Denzel Valentine deal happened about 10 days before that.
Okay. So I was gonna say it's dependent on what we do in this upcoming stretch, but I don't know when's the deadline exactly? The 14th or something
February
like that?
9th.
9th.
February 9th. Yeah,
All right.
So
Okay.
yeah.
I think I don't well knowing the trend of this team, we're just gonna make the marginal move. We're not gonna go crazy.
Yep. Exactly.
We're just gonna make the seventh guy in the rotation type move or eighth guy.
Doug McDermott, Josh Richardson.
I would take it. I would take it if it kept us like afloat until Mitch
Afloat.
got back. You know.
But that's what we would need, though. That's what in my opinion, think about this: a second unit of Quickly, Josh, Doug McDermott, Obi Toppin, Jericho Sims, and your starters are Brunson, Grimes, RJ, Randall, Mitch,
I
and
would like
basically
that.
what
I would like that, but Doug McDermott, we've had him before. His skill
right,
set is to run around and get his 3-point shot. And I
right.
feel like we legitimately have like maybe one play that's designed to get a 3-point shooter open. That's we have one play, and it's that curl off the off out the
Well,
corner headed
but
to the wing.
Randall. They could.
but the difference is Doug McDermott is a professional that knows how to get open. When you're asking Grimes to do it, right? Grimes still ain't played 82 games. I don't know what, bro. You got to give Grimes ain't played 82 games yet, bro.
Yeah,
So
I'm saying he's a professional. What I'm saying is there is a built-in chemistry you have in when you have guys that know how to get the ball off ball and to because you have to warp your offense to fit that type of guy. Like that guy has to come around off that pin downs,
Which
and
we haven't
you
done.
have to you have to make sure your isolation player has to keep his head on the swivel to look out for him. And a lot of the
can I talk
times
to you
our
about why it
shooters were
works?
sticklers. Yeah, go
Can I
ahead.
talk to you about why it works instead of why it won't work?
Okay.
All right. So here's why it works, right? If Quickly is your second unit point guard,
Right.
right? If we know
Mhm.
Josh Richardson can do it some, right? And this is offense only, right? I'm going to get to the defensive part, and it's going to blow y'all away. I think if you get Josh Richardson, the Knicks are going to finish the season with the number one ranked defense in the NBA. But let me do the offensive part first, right? The offensive part first, right? The Knicks they don't run an ISO offense, right? The Knicks don't run isolation offense. That's not what they want to do initially, right? Their two options when generating offense is initially run the read and react or high ball screen up top, right?
Fair.
And if they don't get anything out of that initially, they'll look to get a reset and get another screen. And then if that fails, they go to ISO, go get us a bucket because it's usually about 12 seconds after the shot clock. We just need a bucket, get it to go get a bucket because the shot clock is running down. right?
Mhm.
But if you have Quickly and Obi in a pick and roll, right? High ball screen pick and roll, you bring Obi up top, right? And you have Quickly attacking from outside the lane and Obi going to the basket. The weak side defender, if he collapsed, or the strong side defender, if they collapse, you kick that ball out to a uncovered Josh Richardson or Doug McDermott for three, right?
Mhm.
Been happening to us is that when that happens with Sims, you've been kicking it to a Obi Toppin in the corner or an RJ Barrett in the corner because Tibbs have been playing 9-man rotations, right? So now when you have veteran 3-point shooters and veteran players that have playoff experience, Josh Richardson with the Celtics and the Sixers, Doug McDermott for 1,000 different teams, right? Now the offense on that second unit looks different. Now when
Mhm.
Quick gets ready to throw up his floater, there is no big man in his face contestant. Quickly can get that floater. And if he does, you can throw the lob to Obi. And if they guard and if they slam from weak side to take away both, you kick it out to Doug McDermott, right? Now you're making the defense move their feet as opposed to attacking a stationary defense that can zone up in an area.
Mhm.
Now, on the defensive side, on the defensive side, off rip by adding Josh Richardson and Quickly and Sims together on that second unit defense. Now you have Quickly one of the best guards in the NBA based on defensive rating. It's not my number. I didn't make it up. It's not my NBA.com says Quickly is one of the best guards in the NBA in terms of defensive rating. It's not
Yeah,
my
agree.
number. I got it from NBA.com, right? Now you have Josh Richardson, a good defender, Sims, a good defender, Quickly, a good defender. Then your starting unit has Mitchell Robinson and Grimes, and they're already, well, they were seventh. I think they probably dropped to about 11th right now that Mitch is out. But when Mitch comes back, you add those two, you give up nothing, right? Say you give up the Washington Wizards first round pick this year, or 3 second-round picks down the road,
I'll do
right?
it.
You've given up nothing. But what happens is when Brunson goes to the bench, when Randall goes to the bench, when RJ goes to the bench, you still have a unit that can suffice as an effective offensive unit when your starters are off the floor. Now, am
Against
I
other
saying,
second units.
yeah. Now, am I saying they're gonna be the Golden State Warriors? No.
Nah.
What I'm saying is once the starters go to the bench, you don't have to hold your breath and hope a team don't go on a 15-2 run against us. Because
Mhm.
that's basically what we do right now. When Brunson goes to the bench, you're like, oh crap. I just saw Miles McBride. You hoping that a team don't go on a 17-5 run, and then Jalen Brunson got to come in the game and jack up shots and not pass to other guys because the game has gotten away from us. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So the reason is
I was gonna say it'll be Josh Richardson getting catch and shoots instead of Miles McBride. So
and I like that option.
I
And
think
for
that's a good
and for
option.
the money, they play the same level defense, except Josh Richardson can guard ones, twos, and threes,
Threes, yeah.
where Miles McBride can only guard ones. And that's not a knock on Miles McBride. That's not a knock on him. It's just Josh Richardson is 6'6", a 6'6" athlete.
and
And Miles
Miles is
McBride is
6'1"
a
on a good day.
yeah. And then in closing time or in lineups where the Knicks say okay, throw out a scenario. The Knicks down 8 under 4 minutes to go, like 3:57 left to go, right? Grimes ain't giving you nothing. You can take out Grimes, insert McDermott for your offensive unit. It gives Tom Thibodeau offensive flexibility,
and
right? Say
and
RJ
and
ain't
an
giving you nothing.
extra ball handler that can initiate
Yep, yep, yep.
instead of it being the Brunson show the entire
Right,
time.
right.
or
And
the Julius Randle isolation show.
and here's a sneak peek into my logic.
Cormega asks who you're trading for him. I think
Just
you
like
might
a
want to
bunch of
repeat
second
that.
round picks. I ain't giving them nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't getting. I probably have to do bodies. I might have to send them like Svi or
Yeah, to make the
Fournier
money
and
work because they're not making nothing. They're
yeah,
making a little bit of money.
yeah. We'd have to do like Fournier and Rose, but those dudes want to go somewhere and play anyway, right? Cam
Oh,
Reddish,
well. The word out on Derrick Rose is if they trade him, they don't want to do him dirty, quote dirty, because they want to
right,
send him somewhere there they'll actually be winning or competing for something,
right, right.
not the
Well,
Spurs.
well,
Person.
the sweetener is Cam Reddish anyway. Is what I was going to get to. The sweetener is in the deal is you give San Antonio a young wing player waiting on an opportunity to prove itself. And if you're Cam Reddish, think about your coaches: Lloyd Pierce, Nate McMillan, Tom Thibodeau. Would you not want to go get coached by Popovich? You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? You say you're a star, so
and they
so so
they 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 would be the type of team that would take him like as a reclamation project, and we sign him to like a very friendly team deal just to see
right, and
what
he'll
he
go
can
off for
be.
47 against us in the Garden, and
Oh
blow
God.
kisses to Nev.
Oh God.
That's the scenario. That's the scenario, bro.
What's up,
Say I'm
bully?
finally free. I'm free.
Not, but what I'm saying, the reason why I brought up that scenario is I thought about this a lot. Right, the Knicks need a veteran shooter off the bench that's going to be consistent. Right, the Evan Fournier veteran off the bench is not consistent. Doug McDermott is the professional shooter that you need. He's not going to give you. Evan Fournier has been okay. So y'all know we got Boston this week, right? We play Boston Thursday.
Hmm.
You already know Evan Fournier gonna score 25 points against them, right? Right? Do
25 points in 17 minutes.
yep, yep. And
Oh
anybody
man.
here dispute that? He had been doing it since he been with Orlando,
Yep.
right? Right. So, but the thing is I would rather instead of giving me 4, 4, 4, 7, 3, 2, 35, 1, 7, 7. Give me Doug McDermott that's gonna give me a legit 14 every night, right? He gonna give you 14 every night, bro. That's what he gonna do. Now, if you want 16 from Doug McDermott, that's a you problem. That's not Doug McDermott fault. If you want 16 from a guy that's giving you 14, that's your problem. That's
Hmm.
not Doug McDermott problem. You just got to come to grips with that. The alternative is this guy. Go get Jonathan Isaac and Terrence Ross.
Ah, from your mouth to God's ears, man. I would love Jonathan Isaac on this team. He's
And
actually
Terrence,
just
let's
coming
go.
back. He's just
Yeah,
coming back. He was in the
yeah,
G League the other night, so he's gonna play. He's gonna play pretty
yeah,
soon.
yeah,
They might probably. I don't know if they're gonna showcase him, but have a sneaky suspicion they might let him play a game or two and see
yeah,
if they might flip him or something. Because they got
yeah.
so many power forwards on their
Oh,
team,
yep.
so many young long guys on their team that they might prioritize over him because he's just been
And
gone for 2 years.
right. And here's the thing, Nev. Here's the thing why you do the 10 as a see the thing about McDermott and Josh Richardson, they play certain positions, but they give you position flexibility, right? If
Mhm.
you get Terrence Ross and Jonathan Isaac, you can play positionless. Bro, you can play positionless with them,
Two, threes,
right?
fours, fives.
Yes. Yes. Isaac, think about Isaac, Ross, and Obi together with Quickly. Oh, and Sims. Oh, I know Nev is thinking like, well, who's gonna play the three? It's positionless, bro.
It don't matter.
You're
It
right.
don't
It's
matter.
positionless.
It's
I
like
like it, Freezy. I like it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Positionless. and then it gives and then here's the thing. If Isaac is the all-world defender that he was before he got hurt,
Hmm.
oh, can you imagine the lineups that Tom Thibodeau go with down the stretch for defense only? Can you imagine Grimes and Quickly and Isaac and Mitch together on the floor? A team wouldn't be able to get a shot off. Oh my, bro.
Mm-mm-mm.
A Knicks fan can dream, right,
Yes, it's a dream. Nice dream, Percy. Nice dream.
bro?
I don't see it happening. Sorry.
Yeah, the front office ain't gonna do nothing. The
Yeah,
front office will do
they too
neither one of those
soft.
moves,
Yeah, they're not
They front
likely
office
to
too
make it.
soft.
right?
It makes too much sense, and they're not likely to do that.
It would take a commitment, an actual commitment to picking some sort of direction to do something like that. So
It's talking about for Isaac and Ross or
yeah,
for
yeah. Well, Isaac, because Isaac is more of a player that can help you now and in the future,
Future, yeah.
right? Yeah,
and that would
yeah,
probably cost a little bit more because I think his contract is beyond this year, but he doesn't make like a ton of money, but he makes a
right.
nice piece of
I think he's
change.
still on his rookie deal, ain't he?
No, he
No,
signed
he's
an
not.
extension.
He
Oh,
signed an
okay.
extension. He's like two
Yeah,
years into that.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's got $52 million left, right? So
So
it's
that's like for 3 years?
2 years, two
2 years?
years, 2 years. But here's the thing. So it's about 17 and then 18 point something, but it includes unlikely bonuses.
Oh, okay.
Like if he win the MVP, he get like $2 million or something crazy. You know
Mm.
what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or
that
I'm sorry,
that makes
$2.6 million.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. But
But are you willing to part with that Washington Wizards pick?
Yeah,
yeah,
for him,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You get
man.
an Isaac, man. Yeah, I mean, that's a lottery pick. He was a lottery pick.
Yeah, yeah.
He when he was
And he's
playing,
from the
he
Bronx, New York.
when he was playing, he was amongst the most elite wing defenders in the entire NBA by like every metric possible.
Yep,
So
yep.
it's no joke his potential. It was just him figuring out offense, and he was about to figure out his offense, and then his knee happened.
Right. And
So
then they had him playing out of position because they had Aaron Gordon.
right,
Yep. They
they
had
had
him
a they
playing with
had, they had him playing the 3-2-3 sometimes.
yep. Yep. They had him and they had Aaron Gordon and they had another wing. I can't remember the name, but did they have a dude named Kim Birch at the time?
Yeah, and then he went
Yeah,
to the
I
Raptors,
think so.
Okay.
but I don't think he played a ton of minutes. He was just there. It's probably another wing you're thinking of.
Um so Jonathan Isaac's career defensive rating is 105 for a wing player.
That played for the Orlando Magic, where nobody on that team played defense for years.
Right. Right. Their defense was Aaron Gordon and Vucevic. Bro, they had Vucevic, Terrence Ross, Aaron Gordon.
I will say though, Aaron Gordon is a good defender
Now he's a good
now.
defender. Now, right?
Yeah.
But when they had Aaron Gordon guarding small forwards, no,
Oh no, 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 no.
no, no, he was a terrible defender. He's too big, muscular, right?
Mm.
Yeah, Manchild says he's played 136 games in 5 years. Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
know that,
well, he
but
missed legit 2.5 years, just
right, right.
period
Yeah,
in a row. Mm.
yeah. Comega says about getting bold instead of Mo and Isaac, but
They're
they're
not
not going.
trading
They're not
ball.
going to give us. Yeah, the
Ball
guy.
ball is starting, bro.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're not going to do that. You
Yeah.
know,
And
they
you think Orlando's gonna you think Ball is gonna want a trade when he's starting to come off the Knicks bench?
no.
His agent will raise man. Come
Yeah.
on, bro.
So that's not happening. You
No,
have to
that's
think
not.
of what the other side is willing to do. And that's why the Isaac trade makes a lot of sense because they have so many power forwards, slash forwards. There are so many forwards at that position.
Right.
They need to get rid of some of these players.
Right. My fear is that they would only do Jonathan Isaac for Emmanuel quickly. That's my fear, right? Like quickly have to be in that deal because they are desperate for guards. That I mean, I know Markel Fultz is balling and Cole Anthony is what he is, but yeah,
And
I would yeah.
they,
But imagine getting Isaac 17 mil and gets hurt expensive dead weight. Hey, but guess what? We have dead weight on the bench right now. 32 million, 37 million. Just I'm sorry, not
Is it 37? I think it's
40,
more than
40
that.
million just sitting on 40
Oh,
million just sitting on the bench.
yeah, you have to take chances on plays, man,
Right.
because he might pass the point where he injured every year, and and it just happened that you hit the lottery.
Right.
So you got to take chances. You can't just stay pat because hey, this player gets hurt, this player is that.
Right. And it's
No,
not like in years past where we take a shot on a young player. Like we go get a young player from a team like DSJ and you don't know what he is. You hope he blossom into something. Or Cam Reddish where you hope he blossom into something. You already know what Jonathan Isaac is off the rip, right?
yep.
He's an elite wing defender,
And
Scottie Pippen-esque. Bro, 105 in an era of high scoring?
on a team that didn't play defense for a long time.
Right. Hey, B-Baller for real said, um, um, yes. And y'all know I love quickly.
I would say no.
If they demand it quickly, and I could get Terrence Ross and Jonathan Isaac, I'd do it. Because this draft right here, I can go get. No disrespect to quickly, because I love quickly. But in this draft right here, I can go get 5 quicklies.
That's a winning draft,
I'm
though. I
I'm
mean,
not doing it.
And okay, all right.
but
I'll show you what I'm talking.
you would have to pay quickly at some point, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to
He's
pay
extension
quickly. About
eligible.
what are you paying? What are you paying quickly though?
15,
He,
in the 15 range.
he probably would want more, which is what would you want your your sixth man to make 16? 'Cause he's gonna ask for like a 4-year deal for like 70 million or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he's gonna ask for, which is like 17.5 million or something like that.
That sounds pretty reasonable for your sick man.
Huh?
You
I
have a
mean,
bona fide six man.
it is pretty reasonable, but when you take into account we have 3 other $100 million guys, then where do you think we're gonna go as far as roster construction? Like our ceiling is
Um.
might not be that high if you're paying all these guys that money.
So just real quick though, in terms of the guard draft thing or the wing draft, right? What I would say it depends. Is quickly a point guard or a two? I would say in my mind, quickly is a point guard, right? But
I think it's a
what I a
combo quote
combo guard.
combo. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I could get Terquavion Smith to replace quickly from day one.
Hmm. I like him.
Um, I don't know about Marcus Sassa, right? But Terrence Shannon, definitely, right? The kid from UConn was the what's this? Not the tall guy. Yeah, but anyway, what I'm getting at is I like quickly, but if I could get Jonathan Isaac and Jonathan Isaac is man, listen, if we get Jonathan Isaac and he returns to form in a year or two, he could be our best player.
Ooh.
Could
If
quickly be our best player in 2
no.
years.
Well, I don't think he'd ever get the usage to ever like
Yeah.
that guy.
Not with Brunson being here.
Because it'll be there will be a hierarchy no matter what. Whereas him being a wing, he can just stand out on his own without having to like. There's no reality where quickly starts ahead of Brunson or starts at the two.
Right.
So it's yeah. Speaking
Right.
of quickly, what's his name? Maxi told Doc Rivers, "I'm cool with coming off of the bench," and now he comes off the bench because he missed some
Wow.
time with an injury. He told Doc Rivers, "Yo, I'm cool with coming off the bench." He's still like getting his 18 points per game off the bench,
Right.
lighting it up. So
Oh man. Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. There's the opportunity to get a Jonathan Isaac.
you
I
got
know
to
it's
take
I
that
know it's
chance. You got
yeah,
to
I
take
think
that chance.
I think you gotta take the chance. And I think Tibbs would or
Thank you, Frizzy, for saying
whatever
whatever,
coach,
coach. Thank you. I
whatever
appreciate that.
coach, whatever coach would they gotta be excited about Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah, the prospect. How old is he? Is he like 25, 26 right now? By now,
He should be 23. Let me see.
is he 23? I think he's like
He's
25.
young. No, he is 25. You're right. He is 25.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
And he's been
Wow.
around for a minute. It's just
Yeah. 5
that,
years.
but we got to take into account 25 is still very young, pretty young. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they just try to make it feel like dog years, but in the 90s
Yeah.
that would be you coming out of your second year. It'll be
Right.
you in your second year because
Right.
you played 4 years in college.
Right. Yeah, I like the Isaac thing. I think you because the alternative because think about it. The alternative is keep Evan Fournier. Their contracts are up at the same time. They make the same money. They make the same money. Their contract is up at the same time. You get instead of evaluating Evan Fournier, you can evaluate Jonathan Isaac.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm,
And then if you get Isaac and he don't show you nothing, next year you can trade him. He's an expiring contract.
right. Okay. 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 Yeah. 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 I mean, I feel like the Magic are thinking the same thing, and they might just try to rehab his image just to ship him off for a haul the
Yeah.
next year. Because the thing is, he's coming back right this second, so he
Right.
might not get the adequate value they might want for a return of investment on him
Okay.
because he's been
Well,
out for 2.5 years. So I know they want to get something worth worth it. So they might just rehab him, bring him along slow. Hope he has like a good start of the season next year, and then just flip him.
right. Right. Well, or you can do that and give him minutes, take minutes away from Franz Wagner, Boncaro, and Bol to rehab Jonathan
Hmm.
Isaac. And I'm not going to say hinder their development, but but hinder their development.
I don't see them doing that. He's
Which one?
basically coming in and he's going to be sitting on the bench.
Okay.
Yeah. If when they
I
call
got
him
I
up from
gotta
the
check. I
G League.
gotta check Orlando's starting lineup. Yeah, right now he's gonna come off the bench, kind of
Right.
like how they did Markel Fultz. Markel Fultz came off the bench for a minute and then they started him. Like for instance, right now Gary Harris starts at the three for them,
Right.
and they're
Gary
always
Harris is
trying to.
back.
Yeah, he's back.
Okay. Okay.
The last 5 or so games, Gary Harris has been starting
Okay.
Wow.
at the wing. And if they were to bring him back along slowly, like by the end of the year, if he's still with that team, you'll probably end up starting like their lineup would be Markel Fultz, Franz Wagner, Paolo,
Who did
Wendell
they
Carter,
bench?
and who do they bench?
Yeah.
They had Terrence Ross starting, and then they had Cole Anthony starting for a bit.
Terrence Ross?
Yeah,
Because I saw a lineup where it was Wagner, Boncaro, and Bol Bol.
and then it was Moritz Wagner because Wendell Carter was out for a long time.
Okay,
It
okay,
was
and
Markel,
so
Franz, Paolo, Moritz, and then Bobo, and then
because
the
when I saw like a 5 game stretch where they were starting and I know this is not sustainable, but they were starting Franz Wagner at the two.
yeah. That was the Paolo one. It was then there was the one with Chume Okiki.
Yeah,
And
I
Chume, I
like
think
him.
he's hurt. Chume Okiki was
He
starting at
stays hurt
the
though.
three. Yeah, he was starting at the three while Paolo was out. Like I'm literally reading you their most common lineups.
Okay,
Their most common lineup was 14 games. It was Markel, Franz, Paolo, Moritz, and Bobo for 14 games. The
okay,
next most common was Markel, Gary Harris, Franz, Paolo, Wendell Carter for 8 games. The fifth
okay.
most common, Cole Anthony, Terrence Ross, Franz, Paolo, Wendell Carter. The
A lot of
fourth
injuries.
most, yeah, foremost for four games, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Chume Okiki, Wendell Carter, and Bobo.
Oh, they had a lot of injuries.
So like a lot of their lineups put him at the two, put
Yeah,
Franz at
that
the two.
yeah, those lineups sound like they had a man. Yeah. All right, hey,
So
real
like,
quick. Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead, Freeze.
I was gonna say real quick, man. Just want to get your thoughts on where we are and if the Knicks should tank or go get a guy.
Should they or do what? Should they? I think they should
No,
just
I'm
get a
asking
guy.
you and Nev's
I
opinion.
I I
Should the
think
Knicks
I
tank?
think they should get a guy because I still do believe like playing and a first round playoff, even if it's a short stay, is helpful for the growth and the development of the younger guys in the rotation, like Grimes, like RJ, like Quickly. I think that's valuable for them. In lesser extent, Obi can be valuable in the long run, but also if we're gonna keep losing games in the middle of February before the deadline, I know they're not gonna make the big move or like pick a direction, but they should probably consider blowing it up. But that's probably not gonna happen. So I'm just gonna go
Who's the
thinking
first person? Who's the first person going to blow up?
Julius.
in a blow up, probably Obi.
Right,
Obi's the first one because he's probably gonna be the easiest one to trade
right,
because
right.
teams won't you won't get a whole lot for him.
Yeah.
Teams will be interested in buying low on his stock. I guess Julius would be next. I would keep Brunson around. I would just not play Brunson. Just you're quote unquote hurt unquote.
Right.
So basically, what they did with Fred VanVleet a few years ago, when these guys were not really hurt, but they were quote unquote hurt.
Maybe they had a boo boo. Maybe they had like a boo boo, and they extended it out longer
Mm,
than that. What
They
was reasonable?
Yeah, cut finger.
they had indigestion for like 3 straight weeks, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
some heartburn.
So what you thinking now?
I'm thinking they're not going to blow it up because of the coach. So that's out of the questions. So
Okay.
they're going to they're going to try to make the plane. Um, I see them, if anything, making the plane. As
Okay.
that's the best I
Forget
can
about the
see them doing
plane.
right now. Because I just don't see them having a competent team right now that can compete on a nightly basis. I think every night we're going to see different breakdowns. Some nights the point guards, other night going to be Julius, and sometimes the bench. Every night is going to be a different scenario. So therefore, we're going to tank without tanking. Eventually, we might just be just out of the plane. We're either going to be just in the plane or just outside of the plane. You know. because to me, we're gonna see nightly breakdowns. Tonight's one thing, tomorrow night gonna be another, and
Right.
another, and another, and
Right.
that's how
Right.
it's going to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all, because I'm tired, man.
Yeah, it's
I'm
all
wore
good.
out. I'm wore
Peace.
out. And then we got
Peace
vibes
out.
and stuff live in the morning in a few
Yeah,
minutes.
man.
Or at 8 o'clock. So thank
Yeah,
y'all everybody for coming through, hanging out with us. We'll see y'all later, man. Y'all have a good night, man. Peace, y'all.
you too, man.
Peace.
Yeah,
Latest.
yeah.
Night.
Yep.